go. There we are. Okay, slide in here like you like me. Okay, Jenna says, have you read The Sound of Gravel by Ruth Warner? She's a daughter of Joel LeBaron. No, but my mom was actually just talking to me about this yesterday, and we have not read that, but my mom was talking to me a little bit about it. And I'm actually going to look that one up because we have not done that. Do they find out right away that you went to the prophet? Typically what happens is they will be called into some sort of meeting to find out their side of the story. And then once that happens, then sometimes both couples will get together and you'll just go in there and you'll meet with somebody like that. It's not necessarily going to be the fact that they're getting disciplined or whatever in front of everybody. Does the AUB allow kids to go to public school or homeschool only? Both. He was homeschooled, I was public schooled. He's way smarter than me. And so I 100%.
No, I'm book smart in some things. She's street smart, man. She's amazing.
Oh, thank you so much for joining my team. Thank you for that gift.
We're going to learn to take care of our team members. I can't.
Yeah, we are reading up on all of this stuff. So
we're learning. So
yeah. It's funny because it just kind of blew up really quick, and I really wasn't expecting to. People had been asking me to comment on Sister Wives for a long time, and I was basically just telling my own story. And then I did, and here we are a couple weeks later just trying to figure all this stuff out. Yep. So does the AUB allow medical intervention for cancer and things like that? Yeah, a lot of people do that. So my mom actually had cancer, and when I was about 10, she had cancer, and she could not afford the medical route. She did work full time, but she couldn't afford the medical route. So what she did was she started a local health food store here in the Salt Lake Valley, and so that she could support other women other people that just couldn't afford the medical route. And so she started her health food store, and now she's got a couple of them throughout the Salt Lake Valley. And and she healed her cancer naturally. So let's see, how did your parents get involved with the AUB? So with the AUB, there was a lot of proselyting that happened at the very beginning. People would go out and they'd try to recruit people because it was brand new. They had broken away from the FLDS, and so everyone was kind of in the recruitment process. Cory's dad was one of the recruiters that went through and, got people to come into the group. We call it the group. When we were growing up, I know the Kingstons has like a name that they did, and then other,
Yeah, the All Red group, and then they just shortened it to the group.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and so my dad happened to know Rulin, and so that's how he was. Rulin was the original. Rulin is Christine's grandfather, and he's the one who converted my dad, and then my mom as well. So is it true that pierced ears are discouraged in that community? Absolutely. I went and got my ears pierced at 16. I thought my dad was going to kill me. And my little sister just told him to F off. And she went and did it when she was 11. And thank you, Lori. Thank you so much. Yeah. And so I was more of I followed the rules a lot more, and I didn't go get mine till I was 16. And I literally thought I was going to die that night. Let's see. It says, ex-Mormon here. Thank you, Kelly. Thanks. Did or does the AUB have any kind of garment requirements? Yeah. So I wore garments for 10 years, all the way up to my neck, down to my wrists, down to my ankles. It's funny because Cory and I were just barely talking about this, and he's like, we have been together for 24 years and I've never seen your garments. I still have them. They're just in a temple bag in the basement.
And I've never seen them.
You just never gone through them. I try to still be respectful of some of the processes because I still have a lot of family member in there, and they hold these things very sacred. And so just out of respect, I try not to, be disrespectful of the actual...
their beliefs.
Right. Right.
Even though we don't believe them.
We don't subscribe to that belief at all anymore. No. And so our kids never have. Somebody says recruiters. Yeah. Back in the 60s and 70s, you would see there was a lot of people that had, lack of belonging. They wanted the sense of belonging. So you saw a lot of cults start popping up all over the United States. And I think it's just, there was that wanting to belong. and the cult communities will give you that sense of belonging. Thank you so much, Lori. And so that's why I think that it became so popular back then. And then they would go out and recruit other people to join.
Yeah, I would love to get my mom on here and maybe interview her if she wanted to. But yeah, my father was in the military, and when they retired from the military, him and his first wife got recruited into the LDS church through missionaries. Then they moved out here to Utah, and as he was trying to learn more and more and ask more questions as he was studying the LDS faith, some people within the ward he was in were pointing him towards, because they were looking outside, and so they were pointing him towards Ruland's group and to talk to Ruland. So then he started asking more questions of Ruland, and then eventually shifted into polygamy. So.
And Ruland and his dad actually did convert quite a few people, and he actually baptized my dad into the AUB. And so my dad, I saw a question that just said, who is your dad? He's the current leader of the AUB, which is the same church that the Browns came out of. It's the largest, as far as I'm aware, it's the largest polygamist community cult here in the Salt Lake. So somebody says, why do you think none of the wives went to the leadership about Cody? They did. And that's where, I'm sorry, on the first live we were talking about, I feel like that's my theory of where Cody feels the disloyalty is, because they went, and this is 100% my theory, is that they went to the leadership to complain or talk or whatever, and he felt like they weren't being loyal to him.
And my take on it is loyalty, what a lot of people consider loyalty within the AUB or within possibly religion is obedience. Obedience to the leaders, obedience to the law, and when you're not obedient, then...
get a little closer to me, huh? Yeah.
When you're not obedient, then you're not loyal. And so...
and so that's why I think that he believes they're not loyal to him, is because of that. And then you've just seen recently where he's done his interviews and he's like, this is a bunch of BS. Somebody says, did you watch The Big Love? Have you ever, if so, does it loosely follow the Darger family? So recently, the Darger family, several different families, but apparently my dad was the main inspiration for that show. Brady Udell, who wrote the book Big Love, interviewed my dad and did an article in the, where was that article?
I don't.
Esquire magazine. He Googled it, and it pulls right up, and it's called The Lonely Polygamist. And Brady Udell wrote that article, which then turned into a book called, and the
main character was Bill, because they changed the name, and then he wrote the book Big Love. And took the character of Bill, I guess, over there. So and created it around other families too. That whole series is based on many different families.
And we watched the whole series.
Trying to guess who they were.
I know, and we're like, oh my gosh, I think I know who this story is about, and I think I know who this story is about. And so we would kind of made it like a fun thing where we would try to guess who they were talking about, or which person that they were talking about. So apparently that is loosely based around my dad. So in Big Love, the first wife has cancer. My mom had cancer. I mean, so there's just a lot of different correlations there. Cody calling his church BS. I think that's honestly why he probably got chastised and reprimanded a couple of times. It pissed him off. It does piss all of these men off. They don't like to be reprimanded or told what to do in any way.
And I agree with him. I think the church is BS too, because of my own experience I had with them. So. Right.
But that is really how you can, my ex-husband was a very low moral character. And the only way that he would do what he was supposed to do is if he was threatened with, oh, you're going to go to hell. And so the church leaders, that was the only way to keep him in check or keep him in line. Bill Paxton was in that show. Yeah, he was. I love Bill Paxton too. Love that show. Are the Dargers FLDS or AUB? Neither. They're independent. They're what's called independent. So you've got groups of people who believe in a priesthood head, And then you've got independents who believe in the law of polygamy, but not in the fact that they have to be subject to any a leader. Mm-hmm. Yep. And so the Dargers, I love the Dargers. I know them personally. I worked with them for many, many, many years. And some of my all-time favorite people. And they don't live too far from us, so we see them ever so often out and about. Let's see. Can you give us an example of like he could get in trouble for favoring Robin? Yeah. So basically he would just get called in and it would be like, hey, what's happening? Why do your wives feel ignored? And then it would be like this, I want to say coming to Jesus, but that's probably not a good reference. It would be something along those lines where it'd be like, hey, I'm getting this complaint from your wife. What's happening? You need to correct this. And so let's see. I heard his dad got mad at him for marrying Christine because his other 2 marriages weren't working. Yeah, I don't know about that. I know that when he married, I'm trying to think if Christine got married. No, so when we went to the ranch, right after I got married, my dad took all of his wives and all of his children up to the ranch, and we went and stayed at Cody's family ranch for, 4 or 5 days. And I think Cody and Mary were the only one Cody and Mary were the only 2 that were married at that time. And so we got to know the family a little bit there.
Thanks for following us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. So many of you guys are following us. We really appreciate that. His dad favored Janelle's mom, so he was a hypocrite. Probably, I've heard that a lot. I really don't know. I was so wrapped up in being 8 days into 17 and brand new married that I didn't pay attention to anyone really outside of my own whatever. He divorced Janelle to marry I can't remember how you say her name. To marry. Yeah, I've heard that too. Was the meeting with the Dargers a last push to continue poly under a different sect? Thank you so much for those gifts. I don't know. Was the meeting with the Dargers last push to continue in polygamy under a different sect? I'm not sure that question exactly what you were referring to.
Yeah,
but I know.
I don't think the Dargers follow anybody in particular as their leader. They believe most likely that they have direct connection to their own creator, so they don't need to have a priesthood leader. They don't need to be obedient to anyone here upon the earth.
Someone says, when someone goes to the leaders, is it known amongst the community? Are you in the know because of your dad? I only know because of my dad. And I probably should not repeat some of the things that he has told me.
Disconnected from the phone tree.
Yeah. And so, so it's not typically known amongst the men unless it's so severe that man is disfellowshipped. And that will happen. That has happened even very recently. Some of the bigger men out there with a lot of wives have been disfellowshipped for this exact reason. For, not being, abandoning their wives and not taking care of their families. So yeah, it absolutely happens. And
they like getting up on the pulpit and shaming everyone.
They do love a good public shaming. When Cory was kicked out, they got up in church and read all of Cory's sins across the pulpit so that everyone in the community could properly shame him on his way out the door.
And I got a cool diploma with everything that I was doing excellent at.
Yeah.
And things like fornication, adultery, all those things. They put on my diploma of how amazing I was at those different skills.
Right. Is there a different tithing rate in the AUB? No. Everyone pays a flat 10%.
You paid 10%? I had to pay 20%.
No,
10% for tithing and 10% for surplus. Yes, we did growing up.
Well, you paid the surplus to your parents, not to the church.
No, we paid it to the church.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's because his family...
That's because we were lowly, and so we had to pay more to be around the cool kids who only had to pay 10%.
Says, Cory, you're a badass. Yeah, I literally cannot imagine sitting in that church session. And he sat there and took it. I would have
with this jackass grin.
I would have gotten up and just flipped everybody off and walked out. I wouldn't have because I was a faithful follower at the time, but now I would absolutely. My mom and I were talking about giving 10% to a church. Sounds so culty. It is. Let's see.
Yeah, we had to pay 20. You guys were
I think you're so full of shit.
No. Hey, sisters. I know you're on here. How much did we have to pay growing up? 10% tithing, 10% surplus. And then we paid our parents.
Yeah. Okay, just joined. Are you guys poly? No, we've never lived polygamy. Just born and raised in it. Both of us were born and raised in it.
We were children in it. We realized how crazy it was, and so by the time I came an adult, wanted nothing to do with more than one wife.
And we didn't know each other growing up, which was really weird.
Yeah.
We did not know each other. It wasn't until I met you when I was 22 and you were 26. I was 23 and you were 26. Why the long hair on the women? They just feel like it's more of how do I explain that? A woman's hair is considered her crown, her royalty. It's been said, I was told this, especially when I went over on a big, huge polygamist tour to Israel with a bunch of other polygamists. And it was told that in the last days when you're washing the Savior's feet, it will be with your hair. If your hair is too short, you won't be able to participate in that blessing. And so that's the biggest reason for the long hair is because you want to be able to wash people's feet with your hair.
And Dad told us that we had to cut our hair short, look respectable. I went through a rebellious stage and got a mullet. Wish I'd listened to him. I hate those pictures.
This is crazy. It is. It's very crazy. Why do you think we left? That is exactly why we left. Do you think he'll take on another wife? Cody, I'm assuming, is who you mean. Absolutely not. I don't think he'll take on another wife at all.
Possible.
He thinks he will. We're split 50-50.
Yeah, I'm not throwing it out the window, so.
I don't think he will.
The right soulmate comes along. Could happen.
Oh my gosh. Are you guys Mormon now? No, we don't participate or subscribe to any religion right now. And I'm sorry, I know it bounces as I scroll through the words. Do you still talk to your dad? No, I actually took a step away from my dad about a year ago. I had a little brother. I had a disabled brother who passed away, and just the way my dad handled that whole situation was really disappointing. And so I took a huge step back for that reason. And he does. My dad just had a birthday and he texted him and yeah. Why do you think the ex-wives and kids don't respond back to the mean things Cody says publicly? Why? There's no point in it. He only hears what he wants to hear and he only responds to what he wants to hear. And honestly, it just, to me, it shows a higher class of character in them that they don't even stoop down to that low of a level with him.
If you're a little kid, if you see a little kid throwing a tantrum, do you join in and get down and throw the same tantrum? It might work, but most likely you just sit there and watch them do their tantrum.
Right. Cody told your dad not to release Christine, but he ended the intimate part of their marriage. Right? So thank you, Ella, for that question. Mm-hmm. Cody told, he did, but he ended and this is what typically will happen in these polygamous situations. These men literally just put their wives out to pasture, for lack of a better terminology, and they don't go to them, they don't have any intimate relationships with them, nothing. And these women are just supposed to take that.
And then they self-righteously say, I've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Not a thing wrong to warrant a release, so you should release her. She should sit in that bedroom with the door off and weep. Yeah. So.
I mean, I don't understand that at all. I'm going to actually start going through these questions on your phone instead of up here because I feel like every time I scroll, the camera's bouncing a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And my 17-year-old has been very annoyed by that. So he's like, Mom, stop touching the camera. I think somebody says, I'm going to need you to expand the OG telling on Cody. So that's funny. They basically would just go to the priesthood head, and I'm sure that's what...
They really didn't have to tell on him.
He told on himself.
If the priesthood watched any of the show, they're like, oh, what the heck, dude? Yeah. Robin's bio dad would frown upon some of the behavior.
Oh my gosh.
That went on in that...
So we brought this up in a couple of different lives, and we are working on this to tell the story behind that. So Robin's bio dad and Cory's dad had a major falling out. And it was bad. But we want to get our facts straight before we tell the story because It was so bad, and we don't want to.
He doesn't approve of anything that he considers unapprovable, and so it's a good thing, because then these guys go on camera and do all the same behaviors or similar behaviors on camera.
Yeah.
That are unrighteous and unholy. So,
yeah, no, he tells on himself. They don't even really have to go tell on him. Every time I would talk to my dad,
I tell on them.
I would say to him, "Oh my gosh, Dad, are you watching Sister Wives at all?" Because we literally couldn't watch it. It's just so obnoxious. And he would be like, "Mel, I don't watch that kind of stuff." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I watched one episode and then remembered why I didn't watch it and turned it right back off." And then he'd be like, "Yeah, that's just a shit show. I don't want to watch that." Okay, Christine is vocal about wanting to be the third wife. Did you have a preference in the wife number you would be? I actually was the first wife. And the minute that we got married, he started looking for wife number 2. And then, but I got pregnant instantly. I had a baby 9 months later. And it was had morning sickness and it was bad. And so he started looking for wife number 2. As soon as I had that baby, he really started courting wife number 2 at that point. And then I put a stop to it because she was 16, I was 18, and he was 26. And so I put a stop to that and just said, yeah, I don't want to do this right now.
When I was younger, I was reading through some of my diaries, and I put in my diary, I'd like to be husband number 2. And so I got that.
Somebody
so
says...
I got a brother husband that married her first, and that's why I'm husband number 2.
Somebody says, did you remember to tell her how gorgeous she is today? Thanks, Doug.
I know. Yeah.
You're so nice. Thank you. Okay. Blaine Brett says Catholics are encouraged to pay 10% tithing to the church, but I'm sure no one ever does. So in the LDS church, in the mainstream Mormon LDS church, you actually have a tithing settlement at the end of the year where they go through your income. They go through your taxes. They go through everything to make sure that you are paying the right amount. Now, the polygamist church has never done that extreme, but yes, very.
None of them do their taxes.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, they do.
Kelly subscribed. Thank you so much, Kelly, for subscribing. That was funny. No, they don't pay their taxes, unfortunately. A good majority of them do not. And so that's not really that far off of a statement, unfortunately. Oh my gosh. What did you think about Cody saying he was clueless as to why his kids were angry with him? My dad says that to me all the time. He'll call me up and he'll be like, the first time I made a video and went public with it, my dad called me and was like, you will never use the word cult online again, ever, young lady. And I was like, okay. But he didn't call and find out why I felt like I needed to use that word, nothing. I was 48 years old and he was making these demands. So I think that he's not clueless because he literally doesn't pay attention outside of himself, Robin, and those children. That's why I think he's clueless to it. Let's see. Cody told your dad not to release Christine. Oh, but okay. But then sorry, I'm trying to catch up on the questions on Cory's phone so that I'm not touching that. Cody's brother Curtis was married to a woman named Erica. Erica has a brother named Caleb who was married. Oh, okay. It looks like people are going back and forth. What do you think of Christine filing for paternity and full custody? Absolutely, good. She should. Mm-hmm. Good for her. Yeah, so honestly,
she's is it Truly? She's taken care of Truly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and honestly, I absolutely the one thing I fought for in my divorce was to make sure that I had full custody of my children, and I gained full legal custody of my children. That was the only thing I fought for. I did get some financial assets, but the children was the most important thing.
We're joking. Yeah, sorry.
We shouldn't say that all polygamists don't file their taxes.
We're joking. It's all humor. So everybody pays their taxes. So.
As you say that, body language, everyone pays their taxes. So Jody, thank you, Jody, for being a subscriber, says, but if he doesn't, then he can't do the show Sister Wives because he doesn't have any sister wives. Yeah, and that's true. And in the AUB, I don't know about other groups. I'm pretty sure it's the same, but you have to have 3 celestial marriages in order to meet God after you die. In order to get to the highest level of the kingdom of God, you have to have 3.
In harmony.
No, I don't think they even care if they're in harmony anymore. but I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't think it matters anymore. I loved Maddie's response to Cody. It was amazing. One of the best, that one I showed you about the snake skin. Never refriend a friend who is in snake skin, or or a family member because they'll bite. Perfect. Perfect response. Man, I have so much static in my hair today. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. Let me get back to these questions. We had a Sunday envelope. Oh yeah. There's a bunch of you are talking about the Catholics. Yeah. I mean, tithing is part of your eternal salvation. So my brother-in-law tried tithing the church 10%, was told by the pastor that they don't do that there. Oh, maybe some churches don't do that. But what's the difference between all of the LDS? So there's a lot of differences. The polygamist church, they believe that they lived the original teachings from Joseph Smith, and that the LDS church has swayed away from the LDS church. And so they're trying to go back to those original teachings. They try to keep so that's why they claim that the temple ceremony is the original ceremony that was developed. The garments that I wore are the original garments, and then all the teachings, the polygamy, all that stuff are the original teachings. One of them that they don't live as openly or even as and we'll tie this one into why this is right, so that maybe everyone can grasp, is United Order. And United Order is where everyone is given, they all put in all their monies, they put in their time, their resources, everything, and then it's distributed accordingly. And you could kind of
the families and
the family needs
kids they have,
yeah. And so you could kind of see that in the cul-de-sac in Vegas. And then when they moved to Flagstaff, so the Brown family had like a miniature version of United Order. When Cory's family moved to Montana, they were creating a bigger version of United Order with dozens of families.
All within a community.
Yeah. And
so they claimed the original church lived United Order and lived plural marriage. And that the church has let that go. And so they were trying in the 70s to do this United Order again, and along with polygamy. And those United Orders eventually fail. There's always somebody coming in.
There's always someone at the top who gets all of the funds.
Yeah, and so they eventually failed. The United Order up in Pinesdale, it split many different ways. They're trying to get the property out of the priesthood's names and into individual people's names. So it's a whole it started out pretty big. We were part of it, trying to do it. Had 13 acres of farmland. We raised chickens, turkeys, sheep. There's other people that had cattle farms up there, milking farms. We raised all of this stuff, brought it into a community warehouse or storehouse, and then we would barter and exchange.
Yeah.
So we got milk, we got all sorts of fresh beef, venison, things like that every year. So probably the healthiest I've ever eaten in my whole life. I had some good food up there. So.
Yeah, and honestly, that unfortunately, when the United Order process falls apart, which it 99.9% of the time will always fall apart, then you get somebody who owns a mansion and somebody who lives in a trailer.
Yeah.
And that's the result when United Order falls apart, especially in a family.
So when we came into the Pinesdale, they had what's called a trailer court. And we came into Pinesdale, we lived in a trailer, and then eventually, as you gave to the community, worked on the community, you were given a lot. My dad got a lot. We built a home on it, so that's that big home with the cabin next to it. And eventually, we all moved into the big home, and one of my older brothers moved into that trailer. And that trailer court...
Thanks, Chief Officer.
That trailer court is where everybody coming new into there was. And so
Robin's
family lived in the trailer court with us. Mm-hmm. And then we moved up into the big house, and We'd go down the trailer court because we had my brother down there. My friends were all down from the trailer court. So.
Yeah. So Cory did grow up down the street from Robin, and I grew up with Christine and Janelle.
Like 4 trailers down.
Yeah. Thank you,
cool.
Lisa.
And my little sisters in here never lived in the trailer court. It was
they always got to live in the big house.
Yeah.
Somebody says mainstream LDS does not require you to bring your tax returns in.
Okay.
Thank you,
cool.
Kelly. Yeah. My bishop did when I was a member. We were pretty active members for about 10 years, and they did require us to bring that in. They never ask anything about your taxes. They just show what you paid. Yeah, cool. Mine always required a tax return. Whether you're were either one of you married or married to other people before this current marriage? Yeah, I was married 8 days into 17 in the polygamist group. I was the first wife. But then he dated for a while. So I was married for 10 years before I finally got divorced. He was 30. What was that? You're 29 when you got married?
How many moms does Cory have?
Oh, Cory has 9 mothers.
9 mothers growing up.
Yep. So, let's see. Christine was hitting Cody the only place that will hurt his wallet. Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately.
And his kidney and his pride.
And his ego. Yeah, she hit him in all those places too.
And his lack of sense of humor.
Yeah.
She's way funnier.
And somebody says, I think once he met Robin, he didn't want anything to do with the other wives. That's unfortunately true. A lot of polygamous situations, they get boring. The wives get boring, and this new hot one comes around, and look what we can do. And then they, shelf the other wives. And that happens a lot, unfortunately. Let's see. I want to make sure that we get to these. Jolene says, I think Cody wanted to move from Vegas so he could get the house that wouldn't be next door, and they could, yeah. So my parents, we never lived with other wives until I was 16 years old. So Cory's family all lived together all the time, where my family, we did not. We had our own separate homes all over the Salt Lake Valley. And on my 16th birthday, my dad doubled up his wives. And there was only 4 of us at the time, 4 wives at the time. And so everyone doubled up. And this comes back to the United Order part. So all the equity from my mom's house went into, and then my dad saved for about a year and then bought a stupid huge house in the valley. It was like 7,000 square feet on 2 acres. It was really big. And all of the equity from my mom's house went to buy that house. And so now that my mom's 70 and leaving, she's leaving with absolutely nothing. And my dad's going to let her leave with absolutely nothing. She has no financial anything now. So I'm hoping that some laws get changed here really soon to protect these women that do this, because they go into this wholeheartedly believing that they are part of, a smaller United Order because it's a family. And so they go in there wholeheartedly believing that they're doing what's right. And
believing that they need to put everything in their husband's name.
Yeah.
Because he's the leader.
Yeah. What do you think the worst part of polygamy is? Exactly. That right there. It's the worst part of polygamy, because these women literally go in there and they give everything that they have financially, emotionally, spiritually, and then these men will take it all and walk away from it and let these women walk away. Did you work together? I'm not sure what that means. We do work together now, but Marianne sealing her marriage to Cody was the best thing she could have ever done for herself. I absolutely agree. Because whether you believe in that church or not, there is this sense of freedom that you have. When I finally got my release, because I was never legally married, I only was spiritually married. When I finally got that release, it was like the prophet was crying, my ex-husband was crying, and I was over here like, are we done yet? Because I'm out of here. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And and my mom was there with me, and I stood up and I was just like, you guys sit and wipe your wounds all you want. I'm done. And I got up and walked out. I was not very nice that day because it took me 18 months to get it. And I had to beg, plead, and borrow. Let's see. I don't see the show lasting. I don't either. There's not enough drama anymore. Well, you what?
Should we ask people we're trying to get 25 subscribers.
Oh, I always forget about that. I'm trying to go through and answer subscriber questions. So one of our most of our lives, we're getting close to 1,000 questions on every live, and we're wanting to make sure that we get your questions. So we started the subscription, and we want to answer the subscribers. Thank you, Moonbeam.
Yeah.
And people who are on our team. We're still learning all this process, so thank you guys for being patient with us. Thank you, Moonbeam.
Thanks for the gift.
And so we're going to make sure that we get to the subscribers and people who are on our team. So that's why I'm trying to scroll through here to make sure that we get to those. Let's see. How did Robin come into the marriage with nothing in debt and end up in a mansion like the rest of them? Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
That's a good. It's because of the United Order process.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Everyone contributes to the family, and then family resources go to wherever they need to go, and a lot of people take advantage of that. Let's see. How many siblings does Robin have? We just were counting that up the other day because we saw some pictures, and from her mom, I want to say there was 7, I think, from her mom, and then from her bio dad, she's got like another 8 or 9, and then from her stepdad, she's got a bunch of them there too. I honestly don't know. How many moms did Cory's mom have? Oh, we already got that one. Wow, that's wild. I've never heard of. Shoot, I hate it when it bounces like that. It's so obnoxious. Thank you, Chief Officer, for subscribing. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Oh, we got a subwave.
Let's see. Oh, come on. Let me get back over here. I want to make sure I get all your questions. Is it true multiple wives file for state help and that's why the state initially stepped in? I've heard that. I had a disabled brother and my mom was too afraid to ask for help until it was financially overwhelming for her. And he was 14 years old. He was going through 3-4 diapers a day, and she just couldn't financially keep up with it. We finally, as children, made her go into the state and ask for help. Thank you, Blaine Brett. Appreciate that. Rachel, thank you for joining or for subscribing. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
But she was not going to do it because she was too afraid that the state would come in and take him away from her. So I think it just depends. Thank you, Alicia. And Jody Lynn, thank you. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'll let you do that.
No, it's good.
Yes, I think you mean that you grew up with Christine and Mary, not Janelle. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I grew up with Christine, and sometimes I get talking. But I didn't know Janelle until they came into the church building when she was married to Cody.
Yeah, and our family grew up in Pinesdale in the community, and we grew all of our food and stuff like that. But my dad and his first wife were ex-military, so they both had pensions, and he also married 2 other women that had pensions coming in.
Thank you, crazy mama.
So our family had, if you will, enough to survive. We lived mostly off the land. We lived mostly off of working there.
Thanks, Tiffany.
But yeah, there was my dad, and the way we grew up, he was leery of the government. He didn't want any knowledge of anything. And we all lived in 2 houses. We put away food, we put away wood. We had a huge food storage, so we lived within a community, and he never asked for government assistance. He was ex-military, and he tried to go off the grid and away from anybody looking at us.
Yeah, so a lot of people say that, but you're so afraid of the government, and you don't want the government to be in your business, and so you just don't get that.
It's not saying that other families haven't done that. I have no clue. I'm just talking about my family. We lived off the grid. So.
Right. So somebody says, I'd like to ask why you have a rift with your father, but your husband doesn't. Seems like, because he's nice and I'm not. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's just, he is. He really.
I did.
So for the longest time, he did not like Cory, but then all of the babies in our family love Cory, and he could not figure out why. And then we had our first daughter together, and his heart softened, and he did not want me to marry Cory. Cory was kicked out of the AUB and joined the LDS church before we got married, and my dad did not want us to get married because he had been kicked out. And so I didn't know Cory when he was a part of the AUB. I didn't know who he was or have anything to do with him. And because I was married and I had babies and I was taking care of my family. I wasn't out there seeing other people. And so when we got married, he didn't come to our wedding. He was really upset. It wasn't until we had our first child that he softened. Mm-hmm. And now he likes Cory more than he likes me.
Well, I appreciate him because when my dad passed away, he stepped in and has been a really, really good guy to me. So yeah, I have no beefs or qualms with him. I appreciate everything he does for me and my family. So,
do any of your moms have a nanny? Me. I was the nanny. I was the mother effing nanny. No, we didn't have a nanny. Nobody had a nanny. That's insanity. No.
Yeah, we didn't even know what a nanny was.
Yeah.
So until we watched Mary Poppins, and we were like, we don't have one of those.
No, we had other mothers that stepped in and took care of us. We did not have.
There are 9 women in our house that you would go and talk to. If your mom wasn't around, then you would go and talk with them. So.
Do you think, do you guys have sister wives? No, we never lived this way. We just born and raised this way.
Just a brother husband.
He just has a husband. I know, he calls himself brother husband to my ex-husband. I don't think my ex-husband appreciates it very much.
He likes me deep down, so he likes my sense of humor.
Do you think Mary getting an AUB divorce angered him? I don't think Cody gave a shit, if I'm being honest. Now, if Christine got a release, I think that he would be a tiny bit angered. But no, I don't think that Mary getting a release gave him no sleep lost. Cody lost a great person with Janelle. Seems hardworking, intelligent, great conversation. I love Janelle. I love her. She's just so nice. Chief Officer says, did either of you do counseling with your moms, or were you able to talk to them right out about their part? That's touch and go sometimes, I think. I think it kind of depends. I'm very blunt and honest with my mom. Sorry, Mom, she watches all of our lives too. Sometimes I'm not as nice as I could be. I could be softer. What do you think? With your mom?
What's the question?
Did you get counseling, or have you done counseling or been able to talk to your mom? He just makes fun of his mom.
I talk to my mom all the time. I talk to many of my mothers.
No, I'm saying, the question is, did you get counseling with your mom?
No, I did it on my own.
Yeah, like she comes down a couple weeks ago and we were saying something about her we watched Daughters of a Cult on Hulu. If anyone hasn't seen that great series. And she was there. She was at Rulin's funeral. And so we said something about her
being... You could have got your butt shot up.
I know. And so we said something about her living on the compound. And she gets all wounded. I don't live on a compound? She got so mad.
It's priesthood property.
It's priesthood property.
Right. Yeah, you say priesthood property, I say compound.
Yeah, tomato.
Yeah, you say obedient, or loyal, I say obedient. Whatever words you want to use.
Yeah. So, didn't you testify? Moonbeam says, thank you for subscribing, Moonbeam.
Yes, thank you.
Didn't you testify in court against polygamy in Utah? I did not, but I would if I had the opportunity. I have not spoken out publicly. This is the first time I've ever spoken out publicly. I have, however, spoken out very publicly about SA that happens, and I have gone into courtrooms over that, but I have not done it over polygamy. And I will from here on forward. I just didn't have a public voice before. I just kind of, now that I do have more of a public voice, I'll be doing that. Thanks, Emily. So Emily Lee is my sister. So if she responds to some of your comments, then she's my first sister to go public. After our dad, I'm going to tell a little story on you. After our dad became the prophet, Emily went public and inspired me to start talking out publicly. And I probably never would have done it if she wasn't as strong as she is. Scoot on in here, babe.
Sorry, just drinking my coffee.
Yeah, I know. I would never have been encouraged to speak out publicly. And I'm so glad that I did, because it's changed so much, and I feel like I do have a voice and a story to share, but I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for Emily. So let's see. I asked because, so Chief Officer says, I ask because healing with the moms who were complacent on some things takes healing too. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry once again, Mom, but I have been more angry at my mom than I have at my dad. because she was complacent and she did put us in that situation. And she knows it now and she's very apologetic about it now. And she, I think a lot of times these mothers do come to a realization, but at the time she thought she was doing what was best for her family. And so I have this philosophy that we always do the best with what we know. And if we know better, we'll do better. And so when she knew better, she started to do better.
Thanks for the subscribes.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, we're almost to our goal, I think. I'm not sure how to read it, but thanks, Emily. Mary Kelly says, Mary took her power back. She did. And that is something, like, I loved that TLC clip last night. I watched that. So many people tagged me in posts, and I was so grateful because I don't always see a lot of the posts. And so yeah, if you guys ever want to tag us in posts, please do it. Oh, Emily subscribed for the first time. Thanks, Em.
Thanks.
But so please always feel free to tag us in posts if you want to.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, I loved that TLC clip of hers. You could tell her heart was hurting, and I'm sad for her for that. Let's see. Do you keep in touch with your former sister wife after you divorced your ex? So he actually never got fully married. He wanted to, but she was 16 and turned 17 during the process. I was only 18, and I just said no. It's predatory. It felt so predatory to me, and I put a stop to it. Thank you, user, for the subscription. Yeah. How did your dad feel about you getting a release? He was not happy about it. He was very upset about it. He actually didn't even know because I called the prophet and demanded a release that day. And so my mom went in there with me. My dad he didn't even know about it at all until it was already said and done.
Did not follow the priesthood.
He was not happy.
He went.
Yeah. And Cory went and asked about me, which made me so angry. I was like, you're not asking about me, but he did, because that's part of the process. If you want to date or court somebody, you go ask their parents. And Cory was trying to live all of the ways. And
I was just trying to be a gentleman. I've appreciated the same courtesy with my family too. So
yeah,
I enjoy getting to know people before the process of dating. So.
And our son-in-law, bless his heart, called Cory and asked Cory before he asked our daughter to marry him. And so I know he's a good boy. When he called, I was like, what? And they had been living together for quite a while. And then he just called one day and just said, hey, I'm going to ask her to marry me. I want your and Mel's blessing. And I was like, thank you.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a wonderful, wonderful kid. Thanks, Em. And so,
my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, let's see. I want to make sure. So yeah, no sister wives. Yeah, I actually did a TikTok on that said how predatory it felt, because he was 26, she was 16, and I was 18. I was barely 18. So did your dad ever pay into Social Security? If he and your mom are legally married, she can collect. My dad never married my mom legally. My mom was the second wife. And yeah, and so she's never been legally married. He didn't legally marry another wife. He legally married his first wife, then she divorced him when I was 2, and he didn't legally marry another wife for another 25 years. And then he married her without the knowledge of most of his other wives.
Yeah, my dad was in the military, so he had all that.
Yeah.
Retired. He was retired when he started a whole polygamous family.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, his dad. Yeah. Weren't you? His dad
40s.
Was like 45 when Cory was born.
40s.
And Cory's the first polygamous child. I'm actually the first polygamous child. And so yeah, his dad was 45 when he started his polygamous family. Okay, Jody says, but then if there's no show, what will they do for money? Yeah. I think that
they got a good social media presence.
They'll start doing faceless marketing online. What made you finally want to leave after 10 years? The previous prophet to my dad was Google Eye and my 2-year-old little girl, and it made me sick to my stomach. And I realized I did not want that life for her, and that I needed to get her out of there as quickly as possible. And that's what made me finally leave. I just didn't want her to be
Amazing
a part of it.
Kiddos. We wanted to raise them different.
Yeah. Thanks, Abby. Thank you.
Thank you.
When did you guys leave? How much is a test of subscribe? maybe I'm not reading that one right. It's hard to leave. Deconstruction is really hard. I do a podcast, and I actually did a whole podcast on the deconstruction. When whether you're just going through a crisis of faith or whether you actually are deconstructing religion, it's not an easy process. I left when I was 22 and ran 23, 22, and then had a medical baby and thought God was punishing me and went back and stayed till I was almost 26.
It's cool to be raised your whole life, 18 years of being told this is the only way you're going to get into heaven.
Yeah.
You fail in any way, you're going to go to hell. And then being told you're going to hell, get out, here's your papers, see ya. Then all of a sudden you're like,
thank you, Brandy.
I don't know if I should believe that.
Yeah.
So I had a lot easier to disbelieve what I've been taught. I questioned a lot before then. Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie. Yeah.
Amazing.
So Robin and Cody took their house off the market. So yeah, but there's some other theories going around there from other real estate content creators. Thanks, Jamie. Saying that it's in escrow. So they just pulled it from like the public marketing, like Zillow. Thank you, Francis, for being a subscriber. Thank you. I wonder why they took their. Jody Lynn says, I wonder why they took their house off the market. So from my understanding, it's in escrow. It's not taken off the market. They just were tired. I think. Thanks, Jamie, for joining my team.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Thank you.
We still don't know all of the ins and outs on these, but we are learning.
You guys.
Yeah. And so that's my understanding. Wow. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Thank you, Kelly. So yeah, that's my understanding, is that it is in escrow and currently under contract. For special needs children, does the AUB believe in early intervention or other services? So my little brother was in early intervention or special services. For special needs. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
So with my little brother, he had Down syndrome, so there wasn't really a whole lot of early intervention they could have done. Gosh, thank you, Jamie. Oh my goodness.
I know, he's filling us up.
And so there wasn't really a lot that they could do around that. Thanks, Em. Oh my gosh. And so he just barely passed last year. He was a couple weeks away from his 29th birthday, and a couple days ago he would have been 30. So so that's been a tough year for us with that loss. Let's see. Robin lived in a trailer park. Makes sense why she listed on the mansion. She insisted on the mansion. It was a status thing.
Hey, but they had a nice double wide. We were only a single wide trailer.
Thanks,
they were the
Jamie.
rich trailer park. I'm just kidding. I don't know what.
Yeah,
I was little when I lived in the trailer. It was a cool trailer park.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Are you guys currently friends with any of them? I'm assuming you mean the Browns. I stay in contact with Mary here and there, but I haven't talked to Christine or, we've seen some of their children and stuff here and there. But yeah.
No, I've been away from the AUB for, 30 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have associations, but most of my associations from the AUB are either with my family, some that are still there, but most of everybody that I'm friends with that I grew up in the AUB, are also not part of the AUB anymore. So I have relationships with their family. So and Mary does know about my podcast, and she's been a sweetheart about it. First gift. Thank you, Francis. Thank you so much. Okay, somebody says, what is the AUB? It's the Apostolic United Brethren. It's a polygamous cult here in Salt Lake City, the one that the Browns came from. And when we were kids, we called it the All Red Group.
Yeah, we called it
the group.
We called it the All Red Group or the group. Yeah,
well, I didn't know it was an AUB until later on in life when
I didn't either.
Had papers that they put together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you were the Aspen.
Hey,
absolutely, I was the Aspen. So my mom had 11 children. I was the main person in charge of like the first, pretty much all of them. But then my sister Emily, you're so sweet, thanks. She was like the second mom because I got married and moved out, and then she became she replaced me in that. Oh, thank you so much. Sarah. Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, so let's see. What did we call the other mothers? I called ours aunts. Aunt so-and-so, Aunt so-and-so. Did you guys do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
I never referred to him as another mother.
yeah.
Or never said, oh, mother, da-da-da-da-da. I never did that. But a lot of people do. Like, they'll say Mother Christine or Mother Janelle or Mother... That's very common.
Yeah, it was an aunt to us, so...
Yeah.
Aunt so-and-so, Aunt so-and-so, or just their first name.
Yeah.
So,
Somebody says, Robin with nothing from...
or Tillapuckawart, you know who I'm talking to, young lady.
Nothing but debt from a trailer park, now a nanny in a mansion. Yeah. It's hard to watch, huh? And that goes right back to that United Order thing where some people are willing to work really hard, dump all their money into the family, and some people reap the rewards. I really hope that there's some justice in that situation. He just wanted Mary to go away. Jody Lynn says he just wanted Mary to go away. And honestly, I did a TikTok on all the different wives and their personalities, and Mary was the first wife and probably his first intimate encounter, and she crossed him wrong with the catfishing thing, and his ego, now he'll just be a straight up ass to her for the rest of her life. There's no way of getting out of that.
She was probably the first kidney jab, and then, yeah. They weren't obedient.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the word obedient. They weren't obedient.
No, I can't read this question the way that it's spelled because Cory will be a smartass about it. Cory, out of the 9 wives, which one were you the closest to? And which one did your dad eat favorite wife? Which one did your dad, did he have a favorite wife?
Who's asking that question?
I know, I want to know.
A family member?
Yummy sweet treat. That's a very funny one.
I had great relationships with most of the mothers. We grew up in polygamy, so we had great relationships. We had poor relationships. So.
And sometimes you were good friends with one wife.
Yeah.
And a couple years later, you're better friends with another wife, and that other wife is just, gone.
Yeah. And so. I'll explain it this way. My dad had 3 older wives that were almost considered like grandmothers. That they were the they were more of the healing, nurturing.
Because Cory's dad was quite older when
Yeah.
he decided to become a polygamist, so he was a lot older, and so his wives were older too. How old was your dad when he had his last child? Like
no
60,
idea. This is
65.
where my sisters need to get on
I think
here
he was
and
about
go with
65 when he had his last child.
that. Was it that old?
Yeah, because he passed when the baby was 21.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so I would say it's a moment in time. There were moments in times when this wife was a favorite wife.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom was the favorite wife.
My mom was never the favorite wife.
Yeah, my mom was the favorite wife when there was 2 wives in the house. So
right.
And so I don't. And each kid, we all grew up with the same parents. They're different perspectives on who was favorite wives and stuff like that. So. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, there are many things. Yes, I feel like there were favorite wives at certain times as we grew up and everything like that.
My dad's definitely had his favorite wife too. It says, is your ex-husband remarried and still in the church? No. Nope, he never got remarried. We've been divorced for 25 years, and he barely, I think he's had an apartment for 6 months. That's the longest commitment he ever made, and he didn't even stay in that apartment for the whole 6 months. He floats around the country and does whatever, wherever.
But if you're to ask the question, who's my dad's favorite son? This guy. Sorry, brothers and sisters.
Yeah. Somebody says, why do you think you'd be upset if Christine got a release? My personal opinion, not, no one else's opinion but mine, is that Cody felt better than Christine, and he lowered himself to marry Christine. And she came from polygamous royalty was just a bunch of BS that they put on the show. And yes, to some people that does matter, but in this situation it's not. Cody was cooler than Christine, and he lowered himself and he did her a favor by marrying her. And that's why he says, the things I had to do to love you. And then she snubbed her nose at him after he did her such a gracious favor.
That was a pretty good impression.
Yeah.
Thanks,
babe. And so then that's why he's so wounded and his ego is so bruised and hurt by it. Let's see. Christine banged her way out of that relationship. That's what Robin's understanding. I don't know what that means. Thank you all for doing these videos and these lives. Thank you guys for...
thank you for watching and asking us good questions.
Yeah, we honestly... We get FOMO, or not FOMO. I just read that somewhere. No, sometimes I get imposter syndrome and I don't think that what we have to say is that interesting, but my kids have been begging us for years, Mom, you guys need to talk about your story. Because it's so fascinating, because our kids have not been around. I mean, they're around our siblings, but they've never been to church activities or anything like that. And so, no. And so what is Cody standing in the church? I'm sure it was a very mutual parting of ways. They don't want him back and he doesn't want to go back.
Who was that creator or the person that asked me that question?
No, I think it was just a typo.
I know, but I want to see if...
I'll go back and find it later.
Do you know who the favorite wife was?
Emily says, or somebody says, is Emily the one who is on Without a Crystal Ball? I hope Emily doesn't kill me, but yes, she was.
Well, she's in here. She can answer.
I know. I just said. Hopefully she doesn't kill me, but yeah, she was.
Kitty or...
And I felt like she was very misrepresented. So inspired me to start my own. Sorry, I'm trying to scan through here. Is it okay to talk about someone behind their back sometimes if it follows the TNT rule? Yeah, I saw that too. So there's a psychologist on TikTok, and she says the TNT rule. Is it truthful? Is it necessary? Oh, I can't remember what the third one was. So yes, she says sometimes it is okay to talk about people if it's truthful, necessary, and I can't remember what the third one was. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're talking about the Browns, so I don't know. No, Emily says, born and raised. Are you in a polygamous marriage now? Nope. Did Christine's dad give you your release? No, Christine's dad, no, he's never been on the leadership. Only her grandfather was. Her grandfather is the one who established the AUB. Her dad's never been on the leadership. So the prophet Owen Allred is who gave me my release. Let's see. So if Christine and Janelle said no to Robin joining the family, Cody would have had to stop courting her. He should have, yes, but that doesn't always happen. You know, my dad's last wife, my mom was informed by it, but her opinion meant nothing. The TNT. Thank you. Thanks, Grace. Is it truthful? Is it necessary for healing? And is it tactful? Positive critique. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I'm like, oh, I know there's that last one. I can't remember what it was. Let's see. For Mary to get her release, does that mean that church had to find fault with Cody? No, not necessarily. Cody did.
They didn't have to. They just had to watch the show and see a statement where he's like, I'm okay with her marrying somebody else. Well, that's him not arguing about being sealed to her anymore. He was okay with her walking away. So there's no fault in that, if you will.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up. I'm a little bit behind. I see it says Mel will answer these questions. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get to him a little. Son of a beast. It just jumped, but I'm trying to get to our subscribers' questions.
Yep.
As many as I can. Also, everyone seems to love Mary's mom. Rest in peace, Grandma Bonnie. I loved her. Such an amazing.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, my mom even referred to her as an extra grandma and aunt. She is amazing. Like, she helped me in a moment I really needed some. Thanks, Em. I've heard Mary is very nice, even though she doesn't always come across that way. And, you know, I go right back to this saying that in this culture, if you have an opinion, then you're considered aggressive and mean. Doesn't mean that she wasn't mean to some of those children, because maybe she was. I don't know. And I never want to invalidate some of those children's experiences. Thanks, Em, for catching some of these. How did you both become a couple? So I met him when I was still married, and we're actually going to do a series on this because we have been, I met him when I was married and I wasn't a threat to him, so I got to learn his moral character at that point, and he was so amazing that I wanted him to marry one of my sisters because thinking I would never get divorced. And then I got divorced and asked him out, and he crapped himself, and he was freaking out. And then I asked him to marry me.
I was a happy bachelor.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
just chilling.
Yeah. And so, but then we've also had our moments where things have been tough for us too. We actually did get divorced for a few years, and then we got remarried. So we've been remarried now for 6 years, and probably at the best part of our marriage, you think?
Yep.
Yeah.
Whole new
Yeah.
version.
The happiest we've ever been
Yep.
right now. And so, yeah. And I asked him the second time too. So let's see. He did ask me once on a ride in Disney World with a big, huge sign, and my daughter helped me. Cody, what? Go ahead.
Oh, you gave me props for that.
I got
did
you.
ask once.
I got you. Thank you, Francis.
Growing up in the community that I grew up with, there were times I butted heads with wives.
Oh yeah, thank you, Kelly.
Multiple times I butted heads, but as I became a young adult, and so one of the things that I was going to talk about too is I wanted to have a good connection with each one of the wives also, because I had brothers and sisters with them, and I was one of the older brothers that had left, and so I wanted a good relationship with my brothers and sisters, because I knew that at some times in their life they were going to have questions about the faith, and I wanted to have created a safe place, a home down here where they could come down and visit me, and then I was going up there and visit, they could ask me questions. And so I have kept in good relationship with all of my mothers, if you will. Oh,
thanks Lynn
B. And even one of the wives left my dad, and I still go up there and go over to her house because I've got brothers and sisters over there, and hang out with my aunt over there and see how everything's going. So usually when I come up, she even comes over to the big house and hangs out with us.
She'll come over and hang out with all of us, and she calls my kids call her grandma with her name, and my kids, they know her as a grandma. She's very much affiliated with the family still. Somebody says, Rachel says, I'm an 8th generation trad LDS, and it's rough even after 35 years of disassociation. Deconstruction, religious deconstruction is no joke. Honestly, people who religiously deconstruct are some of the bravest, strongest, most courageous people on this planet, because your eternal soul could be at risk.
You're asking questions about what happens, the way you were raised from birth to believe the afterlife's going to be. And be okay to question your eternity.
And we see you guys, because we've had to do that. And both of us being the oldest, we wanted a safe place for our siblings, and we've created our home to be that safe place too, for anyone who needs to have that kind of deconstruction.
Am I permitted into the community? I go there. I don't know if I'm permitted. I never went and I don't have any of their fancy recommends or anything like that. I just waltz in there like I own the place, and nobody questions me. Somebody, Brandy says, I appreciate you guys being so much for being honest. Thank you. It's a crazy way to live, for sure. And so let's see. I have a brother that we look very similar to, so I'll go into some of those get-togethers and meetings, and they'll call me by my brother's name, and I'll be just like, yep, it's me.
I know, I told him, just let them think that you're him, because then you do anything stupid and he gets the blame.
So we look very, very similar.
So, Brandy Lynn says she's heard Mary's very nice. Mary's wonderful. I love Mary. Her and I have always had a really good friendship. If we see each other, the last time I saw Mary, we talked for 2 hours. And she came up to me at a fair. We were at a fair, and we stood there and talked for 2 hours. Didn't even realize it had gone by that fast. So and that was, I want to say that was probably 6 years ago was the last time I saw her face to face. What is the AUB though? Apostolic United Brethren Polygamist Cult here in Salt Lake.
The All Red Group.
I hear the AUB are not LGBTQ friendly at all. Why is that? Lynn B, thank you for subscribing.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn B.
So really, because they believe that that the whole point, oh, we achieved our goal. Thank you, everybody.
Yes,
oh my
thank
gosh,
you,
I
guys.
didn't even know what that would look like. Thank you. We put like some goal that we didn't even know would be attainable, and you guys are amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Subscribers, 25
Yeah.
followers.
So they
Thank you,
believe,
guys.
they believe that that you could bring the most righteous children to the planet, and if you have same-sex partners, you can't bring those children to the planet. That's the biggest reason why.
Reproduction.
Yep, reproduction. That's really the main reason why. Other than that,
yeah.
I don't know.
And it depends. I mean, I guess if you're talking about the AUB, what spoke over the pulpit versus what individual families believe.
Yeah, because there's individual families that don't believe that because they have children who are that way, and they don't allow their children to be treated that way.
Yeah.
And so it's not, it's unfortunate, but we're very open.
Some families, some mothers teach the teachings of within our group, teachings of Jesus, within the group. That I'm part of it, but love one another.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Some believe different.
Yeah, somebody says that Mary didn't keep sweet. That's why Cody's frustrated with her. Yeah. Somebody says it's a lifelong process.
Oh, he didn't keep sweet, or she'd have been nicer to him too.
Yeah.
And not got it. Sorry.
Okay.
You need to learn how to keep sweet too.
I want to make sure that I answer this question because I've seen Paul said Mel's avoiding that question. I don't know what question I'm avoiding. I'm trying to get them all, but answer that question again to make sure
Or
if I do
ask
that,
it.
or ask that question again. I'm trying to catch up because I'm being slow. And let's see, how many siblings do you guys have? What's the catfishing thing? You can go back and watch it. We didn't watch that season about Mary getting catfished, so we didn't watch that. But apparently she was catfished by a friend or something, or I don't know the details. So you'd have to go back and watch that. How many?
What religion are you raising your children in?
We don't subscribe to any religion.
I don't.
Yeah. And it says, how many siblings do you guys have? I grew up with 34 of us, so 33 siblings. And Cory grew up with,
I think 36. I could be wrong. I need sisters on here to correct me.
Yeah.
I think he had 27 biological kids, but there was 36 of us growing up within the same house and stuff. But I didn't know until I was probably a young adult, teenager, that a lot of the siblings, my older siblings, I didn't know that they weren't my siblings because we were all treated as siblings.
Yeah,
together.
so that's
we all
why
grew up in the same house.
We see this crap online right now. Oh, we didn't feel blah blah blah.
Included.
And like I grew up. My dad married 2 different women with 3 children. I have never looked at those kids as not being a sibling in any way.
Yeah, I got my butt kicked by my older brothers, just like any other kids. So
somebody says,
thanks, big bros.
Are you the only 2 in your marriage now? Yeah, we've never lived polygamy. Cory had left long before I did, and then I left, and we met each other longer after that. So
I got paperwork to prove.
Yeah, he got kicked out. He got paperwork saying that his name was taken out of the book of the Lamb of God, and he was not welcome.
No more. I was no longer welcome on priesthood property.
Yeah.
And I've disobeyed that
commandment
also.
Thousands of times.
Here's all the commandments. Now the final one is you can't come on priesthood property. And I was like, skippity doo, I'm on your property. Dancing across the borders. So
as a kid, was it hard to know that your mom wasn't the favorite? Absolutely. I knew my mom. At 3 years old, I said to my mom, why doesn't my dad love me like he loves this mom and her kids? And I was 3 when I said that. And my mom reminds me of this story frequently. And so it scared her. And what she did, she packed up so we lived together at that point. And she packed up her children and left and went and found a new place to live. And then we lived separately until I was 16 because she didn't want her children to be subjected to that. And she knew that she was not the favorite wife, and she didn't want her kids to be subjected to that. So we didn't grow up. Yeah, I mean, it's very clear to see when you are not the favorite. And I think that the favorites, know it too. They just don't own it as much as they should. Oh, yeah.
Did Cory grow up with Benjamin Brown? No.
No.
They lived on a...
They lived in Wyoming on a compound.
Yeah, we grew up in Montana. So
Yeah.
no, I didn't know the Browns growing up.
Yeah.
I did. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew the Brown family, but it was a different Brown family.
Yeah.
So I knew a Brown family that were up there, but probably relatives of this Brown family. So.
This is awesome. My favorite part of Sister Wives is when they met Cody's friends from high school and the girls thought he was gay.
Yeah, so see the AUB.
I can see that.
The AUB is friendly.
So how many wives does your dad have now? My dad currently, well, he's had 8 wives. Right now he has 4 wives in harmony with him and 2 that have left him. And then 2 that have passed. So 8 total. So he's only got the 4. And then Cory's dad
had 2 wives when he passed. He's been passed now, but had 2 wives that were still with him.
Yeah.
When he passed, for multiple different reasons. Some of them left him, and there was quite a few of them that had passed also before him.
Yeah.
He had it was 4.
He had 9 total, huh?
4 wives, I think, that passed before he passed.
Yeah. So. Thank you, Lori. She says we're a cute couple.
Aw,
I make him look good.
Lori.
He makes me look good.
Yep.
If a wife doesn't want a man to marry someone, does her feelings get taken into consideration? They're supposed to be, but do they always know? The AUB makes up the rules as they go along. It depends on who you are. So
yes and no.
Yes and no.
If they can beat him in rock, paper, scissors, then they can win. So I swear I'm going to make this part of the AUB principle. Rock, paper, scissors to get stuff going in the house.
Yeah. Okay, there's a large Exmo community on TikTok. Do you ever engage with any of us? Yeah, I follow actually quite a few accounts, but I'm new to TikTok. I'm not very versed on TikTok. I'm still learning. But yeah, I do follow quite a few ex-Mormons on there, and some of them are funny. Oh my gosh, some of those. Can you do a TikTok series about how you guys grew up? Yeah, I actually have a podcast on YouTube called Notes to Self 444, and I started to do that already. And so I've got 5 episodes right now, and then we are going to do a series on our relationship and how we met, and then how we, grew up in the AUB and how we met, and then our divorce and how we ended up getting divorced. We were divorced for 2 years, and then we got back together and got remarried, and we've been remarried now for 6 years, and it was one of the hardest things we've ever been through. And we feel like since we learned so much about ourselves during that process too, that we could hopefully help somebody else if they heard our story about it, and hopefully give someone else hope.
And then I'm talking to my brothers and sisters and family, and I'm getting some pictures together where we'll fuzz out all their faces, but you can see my cute little mug.
Yeah.
Or my little righteous polygamous mug growing up.
Yeah. So Brandy Lee says, Robin said in one episode, until Christine is intimate, she is still Dakota. So that is the belief that they have. As long as you are, as long as you haven't been physically intimate with another person, man, woman, whatever, then you are that covenant, that promise is still intact. But the minute that you break that, that is no longer intact. So see, I didn't even have to go get a release.
Yeah, I just licked you.
Oh my gosh.
Mine.
Yeah. And so, and so they absolutely do teach that, that as soon as she becomes intimate with another man, whether she's married to him or whether she's not married to him by the eyes of the law, it doesn't matter because she's spiritually married to this other man. So in Janelle's case, Janelle might not ever get a release. And that's why I'm saying I don't think Janelle will ever seek out a release unless she wants to start a relationship with someone else. And then she will, because she'll want to do it in her teachings as the right way. And so somebody says, how does Emily feel about Crystal Ball Girl now? I don't know, Emily. We'll let Emily answer that question. Did you know Brady Williams and his wives? Yeah, a couple of his wives were my very best friends growing up. And then one of his wives was our medical assistant during our first baby together. Is it common for the prophets? Ah, shoot, it just jumped again. Let me go back and find this. Sorry.
I'm see another movie star one.
Oh gosh.
It's from Shawshank Redemption.
How many?
Thank you. Movie star material here.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Yeah, you think Cody has a big ego when you guys say stuff like that to Cory. I have to live with that. And that ego is what, like, this is why we're going to have French doors everywhere, because he can't get his big head through any of our doors. So. My
sisters appreciate you doing that. They're like, shut up, he does not.
Yeah.
So.
Brandy says, how many wives do you need for the highest level of heaven, or what do they call it now? Yeah, 3. You need 3 ultimately in order to get to the highest level of the celestial kingdom. Now, in the AUB, you need 5 in order to hold certain positions in the AUB, and you need 7 to become the prophet. So my dad needed 7 total. Okay, Cory, the epitome of humble buddy. No, he is not humble. There's nothing humble about this man.
I am a humble boy.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to make sure I get all of our subscribers and our members. My grandfather was raised in a polygamous family and hated any organized church. We kind of feel that same way. Mm-hmm. Our children are very good children, and they are very, like, some of the best people that we know.
Teachings,
very generous, very
good human beings.
Very good humans. And so let's see. Is Robin as shady as she appears, like manipulative? I never knew Robin until the show. I never heard of her. I didn't know her family. I mean, I actually knew her other mother and her dad, her bio dad, and her other mother and some of their children, but I didn't know her. I'd never heard of her until the show. So this guy over here, though, yells at the TV often. So Tiffany says, me too.
Don't know her.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
I'm so glad she didn't come into, I don't know.
So, okay, so Nikki says.
Families in my family.
Yeah. Nikki says, so you're saying Robin is full of it by saying they weren't welcomed? I'm not sure. Welcomed where?
The kids weren't welcomed with on the other kids.
Oh, I know.
I know.
Such a.
You can see it in past
episodes.
Episodes. You see.
Yeah.
One of the sons come home from the military and they're hugging on him and he's just so happy to be yes, you can see it. There is bonds that are built between brothers and sisters and that's what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Somebody that if they ever decide to leave AUB, that they could come and hang out.
Yeah.
So I've tried to keep open, go up and visit, keep open communication, talk with my little brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's just a load of crap.
No.
Did your
I don't believe it just by some of the actions of hugs. Yes, there could be rifts within the family. Yes, we don't always get along with every one of the family members, but no, by the evidence of past episodes, those kids loved each other.
You could see it. Did your families live separately? Do you think once the housewives or made a difference in the 4th round? So I think that when you are a woman and you can look out the window and see where your husband is, that's bad business. My parents were...
Or look down the hall in our case. We're all in the same house.
Yeah, I don't think wives... I mean, I understand the whole concept of wanting a big family home and having everybody live together, but it causes more problems than not, especially if you get one wife who feels like she's the queen wife and deserves all of the things, and then you have the worker wives and all the other different wives, then I just think it's bad business for them to live together. My parents did really well for they didn't, let's just be honest, but they all lived in separate houses, and then the minute that they moved on to what I refer to as a compound, my dad's got 4 wives together on a piece of property right now. That's when everything went to shit. So, and they're like in their 60s, and I'm like, you guys are dumb. You guys are starting polygamy all over again. What are you doing? Are there more men kicked out than women? Women are never kicked out.
Recycled.
Yeah,
remarried.
Oh my God, that's such a great way to say it. Cory, that's funny.
No, sorry.
Yeah, they're recycled into new marriages. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Did Cory grow up with Benjamin Brown? Nope, he did not. Let's see. I found relatives from Canada to Mexico, messed with my brain. Oh gosh, I'll bet, Rachel. I saw that one. Okay, sorry.
I got relatives all over the country. So,
yeah. Okay, I'm trying to.
Even in Germany, some of my grandfather's family were still in cousins and stuff from Germany. So that was kind of cool to see that I had some family out over in Germany that were still sending stuff over to my mom. So
yeah, a lot of them. Let's see. So will Cody get another wife? I really don't think Cody will get another wife. Cory and I are split on this. Cory thinks he will. I don't think he will.
We got a $20 bet on it.
$20. You're rich.
I know.
Let's see. You both seem so healed from what you've gone through. Did you go to therapy? A lot. Yeah. It was really hard. It was really damaging situation that we went through when we got divorced. It was really hard on our children. More positive things came out of it than I would say negative things, but it was a really hard situation.
It's interesting because, yes, in the group that I guess if you need therapy, if you call it, you would go talk to your whatever, priest counsel or stuff like that. But my dad was a Vietnam veteran, and so there was a point in time where he was going and getting therapy from the VA's office. Yeah. And so when I talked to him, hey, should I go do this stuff? A lot of, what's the teachings or whatever, and Dad's like, well, I'm going to therapy. And so that almost gave permission, I felt like, for us boys, our family to go and say, yeah, I can go get some therapy. It doesn't we can fix some of the ways that we grew up. So change some of our mentality.
And therapy was really frowned upon in the AB for a long time. Because if you had to have therapy, you weren't praying hard enough, you weren't reading your scriptures enough, you didn't receive enough blessings from your priesthood head. There's like a chain of, what's the word I want to use, where you should do all of these things first before you go in to get therapy. And invite the world in.
To the Gentiles form of therapy.
Right. And so that it was discouraged for a long time. And then a bunch of women in the AUB went into therapy, and it caused a huge stink because then there was a whole bunch of SA that got exposed, and it just got really bad. So then they pulled back and said, don't go to therapy anymore. So it's just, like I said, it kind of just depends on the prophet and what rules he wants to make up at the time. But yes, we have done a lot of therapy, and we've done a lot of plant medicines too. So we went and did ayahuasca, which was super healing for us. Hopefully you don't care if I said that on a video, but yeah, we've done plant medicines too. We've gone to resorts where you're 100%, well taken care of, and there's medical professionals on site. And so yeah, we've done a lot.
Chamomile tea and coffee, that's kind of plant medicine.
Oh gosh, no, we've done some serious plant medicines. We had some stuff to work through. Mostly me. I was mostly the broken one in that situation, and Cory was very patient and kind and loving. Okay, is it true that all the wives have to be in agreement before the husband can bring on another wife? I mean,
if they are in harmony with their husband, then they shouldn't say no. So if they say no, then they're out of harmony, and so the harmony ones can bring them in. So I'm joking. So sorry.
No, what he's saying it facetiously, but it's true. If your husband brings a woman to you and says, I want to marry this woman, and you say no, you are now out of harmony with him, and you have a problem, and you need to get yourself right with God.
And if you and another if him and another wife are in harmony on it, then you're probably going to be put out in harmony. Now, if all one or two or three wives go, absolutely not that person, then okay, now you don't have anybody in harmony. What are you going to do, buddy? So,
yeah. How is it when you're not the favorite wife? How are you mistreated? Is that why your mom left. So I've done a dozen TikToks on this one too. But yeah, my mom's kids have been begging her to leave my dad for over 20 years now. Longer than that. My mom and my parents used to say to us, we just want you guys to have a relationship like ours. And I used to say, why? Do you hate me? And so, yeah, it's really hard when you're the mistreated wife. He'll stay at other wives' houses. What was finally the
reaching goals.
Yeah, thank you. The straw that broke my mom was when he was supposed to be out on a date with my mom, and he was out with another wife, and then lied and said he wasn't with that other wife. But they live in a fourplex. She could see him pull in. He pulled in, got out of the other wife's car, and that was just it. It's like, and you'll see that on the Sister Wives show too. Like, and that one wife didn't think she was doing anything wrong, even though it was my mom's night and he should have been with her. He wasn't. He was with the other wife. And the other wife always had a problem that needed to be fixed all the time. So he would go over there and fix that with her. So yeah, is it true story of Robin's first marriage known to the people in the AUB? Is a true story of Robin's first marriage known to the people in the AUB?
The first marriage was, not necessarily they weren't polygamous, but they lived on priesthood property in the very same trailer court she grew up in that we were in. They had a trailer in that same trailer court. So, yeah, they know about the
I'm sure
first
they do.
marriage. AUB, it was all, and I don't think they necessarily, I don't know if they got married within the thing, but they lived on priesthood property, so I guess they were in.
And I guess I don't know, because we didn't watch the show. Was she pregnant? I think she was pregnant before they got married. That's why they got married.
I have no clue.
I don't know for sure.
I was gone.
Oh, thank you, Sonny.
Yeah, thanks,
First
Sonny.
gift. Thank you.
I was gone and out of there. It was like I was leaving priesthood property, coming down to Utah to live. Yeah. While she was heading back up there to get married and do all that stuff. We might have passed on the way through. So I have no. And
I was busy raising babies.
I knew her when I was a kid. I knew her family when I was a kid. Yeah. By the time I was a young adult, had no clue who they were again. Yeah. So.
And I was busy raising babies. I was at Christine's house all the time because my sister-in-law was married to Christine's brother. Yeah. And so I was over at Christine's all the time, and Mary and I were friends back then. But Robin, I never knew Robin. Never even heard about her. Is there a basement wife, like Christine said? I took it as like she was the yes girl to keep the peace. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. My mom was the basement wife.
We were the basement kids. Yeah,
we were the basement kids. There. Yeah. And
it's too hot.
It's very
keep the basement.
It's very true that there is a basement wife, and they all hate it. And that's really in the polygamous group. That's literally what it's referred to as, the basement wife. You're the one who keeps the peace at all costs, almost. But why did Robin and her first husband get divorced? I don't know. I really don't know that. I wish I did, but
he wasn't keeping sweet. I don't know.
Yeah,
she wasn't keeping sweet.
Yeah,
somebody wasn't keeping sweet. I have no clue. So,
what religion do you all practice now? We don't subscribe to any religion right now. We subscribe to spirituality, and that's about it. You don't say you follow, but do you believe in a higher power? Yeah, absolutely we do. Yep, and we've let our kids make their own decisions for themselves, what they subscribe to. And does priesthood property mean property owned by the church? Yes. Yep. And there's a lot of property that's owned by the polygamous church.
And then you usually, by moving on to priesthood property, you're somewhat doing united order.
Yeah.
And so not only do they own the property, but then you're building your home and your stuff and everything you're putting into the priesthood's property. So at any given time, they can change their mind and say, get off the priesthood property, but you're supposed to be covenanting, is that the word? You're all to that community and to the priesthood.
Yeah.
So that's why you grow up on priesthood property.
Yeah, and we absolutely do believe in a higher power. We've taught our kids that. They absolutely. Do they know they need Jesus Christ in their hearts, or they won't go to heaven? So my dad started losing, I mean, just anybody in general. It doesn't, I'm sure. I don't know. But my dad, so many of my dad's children left. Out of 34, only 4 of them are active. And then a couple that still go to church. My dad came to a point where he had to be okay. And his thinking now is, and he said this out loud, if the only thing I want my children to believe is in Christ. As long as they believe in Jesus Christ, whatever they do is what they're going to choose to do.
Thanks, so
and
blessed.
yeah, thank you. And so that's where that's the conclusion that he's had to come to now. Or he would literally drive himself crazy because he can't keep all of his children in polygamy. And so that's all he wants to do is make sure they believe in Christ. Let's see. So is that why Christine didn't want to live all together? Yeah, she's just tired of being a basement wife. I get so tired. Yeah, I got tired of that. What?
Yeah.
Did Mary go to your...
I think at that moment in time, she's just like, no, I've lived that way, so yeah.
Yeah.
Probably had thoughts of build that big house. I ain't moving in.
Yeah. Well, it's because Christine had never had her own autonomy before. And so she moved into a trailer with the other wives and never had her self identity. And so then when she got a portion of that, she was just like, I'm not going back. That's backwards. Yeah, I'm not doing that. And so let's see. I think they forget that they have been filmed for years. Sometimes I wish we could roll the tape. I know. Thank you, Brandy. I totally agree.
They don't even watch their back stuff. They probably watch as much of Sister Wives as I have. So. Yeah. Little bits and pieces. Someone
says, is Robin a similar age as you know? Cory was best friends with Robin's older brother. Let's see. Did the other mothers know about Robin's family, or was her family kept a secret family? No. Robin's mom and her sister wife, her stepdad's wife, they were best friends before Robin's mom married him.
Yeah, they hung out all the time.
Yeah, they were very good friends before.
She knew about him.
Yeah, so they lived next door to each other up there in the ranch in Pinesdale, and
in the
trailer court. Yeah. So Robin's mom and her previous, right? If I'm getting this right, because we got the story from Cory's mom the other day. So Robin's mom and her bio dad's other wife, they lived in the trailer court, and then Robin's stepdad and his wife lived in the trailer court. And so they became best friends. No, they absolutely knew about it. She wasn't a dirty secret. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's all over online. And yeah, that's not at all what I'm...
That's not my experience of them. They knew each other.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay, so let's see.
They knew each other existed.
Yeah. No, and they were good friends. I think they still are good friends. I mean, I'm friends with her mom on social media, and I've seen some pictures she's posted, and they're all friends. And they seem very friendly. Let's see. It's not really Robin's fault that Cody married her for love and not religious. Is it really Robin's fault that Cody married her for love and not religious obligation? I don't know that he married her exactly for love. I think he married every one of his wives for love. It's just then you get in the relationship and she's the new toy. And he got 11-day honeymoon. Well, I'm sorry. Women are property. In the AUB, women are property. And that's just the way that it is. I'm sorry. I've pissed a lot of people off by saying that, but it is.
But a toy doesn't have a customer, right? Or does it?
Yeah.
A best customer.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah. And so she quickly learned how to become the most loved wife. So is that her fault? I don't know. She was doing what she was taught, right? Thanks, Fran. Did Mary go to your dad for the release? Yeah, my dad's the one who gave her that release. Let's see. How are you all tied to the Browns? We just grew up with them. So I'm tied to Christine through a dozen different ways of marriage, but other than that, recycled. That's hysterical.
He's no longer sealed to you.
Yeah, that's how you get a release. I know. Thank you for that recycled comment, Rachel, because I absolutely agree with you. That was hilarious. They are recycled. You know, one time I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again because it's really funny. My ex-husband and I were sitting in the celestial room of the temple, of the polygamist temple, and my dad was taking on a new wife, and of course it was someone else's ex-wife, and the prophet got up there and he said, they call us a bunch of wife swappers here, but that's just not true. We don't wife swap in this group. And yet my ex-husband and I were the only two people in that entire room that had not been married to someone else. And here my dad was marrying someone else's ex-wife who was an AUB member. And so, yeah, they do. They recycle the women and marry them off to the other people and usually kick the man out. So,
and I can't say that. I stole somebody's wife, so.
He didn't steal somebody's wife. I was already divorced.
Okay, yes.
Don't be sorry, Cory. We love your honesty. How many children do you guys have? We have 5. I had 3 when we got married, and then we have 2 bio kids together.
But they all claim me. They all think I'm cool.
They do. They do.
Not kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really sweet. He just married our daughter. My oldest daughter. She's the reason I left the AUB, and he just married them.
So I am part of a religion then.
Well, he does have his pastor's license so that he could marry them.
Get a pastor's license. So I probably am. So I am probably part of some sort of religion. I didn't realize because I am a pastor in something.
Yeah.
So that I could perform the marriage.
So you could marry them. Yeah. Were the Browns well liked in the AUB before they went on TV? Adored. Absolutely adored. When they first got the show, my dad was so concerned and so worried about it. He's the one who counseled them throughout the entire thing. And he was at my house one night. We were talking about it. I'm like, what do you think about this, Dad? And he was like, oh, I'm, very much against it. And I just told him, I'm like, if anybody could do a good job, it's the Browns. They were an amazing, amazing family.
Nobody asked my opinion at that point because I was gone.
Yeah. Is there a base? Let's see. Sorry, but why did Robin and her first husband get divorced? Yeah, I wish I knew that, but I really just don't know that. Thank you for all this info. You're welcome. Thanks, Kayla, for being a subscriber.
He wasn't her soulmate. She knew Cody was out there and was going to be the soulmate.
Oh, geez. Somebody says she stole.
Sorry.
She says he stole her purity, but she's older than him. Not to say that doesn't matter, but isn't she older than him?
I have no clue.
I'm going to say she probably stole his purity because I think she's got him by like 2 or 3 years. I think she's older.
Handing out.
Yeah, I don't think that he stole anything from her. I think she willingly
Well, it's
gave
a
it up.
good story. That's a good story.
It's a very good unaccountable version of why you're where you're at.
We don't have. This is all for entertainment. I'm being a smart ass about half the stuff. If there was something going on, we don't know anything about it.
It's just our opinion.
Yeah, I didn't. I was gone. I've got some siblings that were still living up there that knew them and stuff like that. But yeah, I was gone. Wasn't around when they got married. Wasn't around when they got divorced. Was blown away when I saw on the first season that she was the one coming in. Like
she walked onto the screen and he's like, no way. Oh, he was stunned.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't know anything about
Didn't
it.
have any clue.
Was there a time you were growing up in the religion where you didn't believe what you were told all the time?
I questioned everything. I was probably one of Dad's most frustrating kids because I had all sorts of questions. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How come this? How come that? That seems wrong. This is. I was trying to be a student little polygamous kid and study, and then I'd ask questions all the time that he would be like, you're asking too big a questions for your britches. And I'm like,
and so that's what's dangerous about that is you can get yourself into a loop where something doesn't sound right, and then you start to read, study, pray, and you're not getting the right answer. So now you're not faithful, and now you're not one of the worthy ones because now you doubt and question, and it can be this cycle that is so abusive. It's very emotionally, spiritually abusive because now, well, wait a minute, I'm not being spiritual enough because I'm not getting the right answer to this question, but yet that seems wrong to me. Why am I, and it feels completely wrong, and so it's a very dangerous loop that you get into, and so a lot of times it can really affect your self-worth and your self-value because now you are unfaithful. And so you'll just push it aside and just pretend it's not there. And then you'll just keep moving forward and you'll just keep living your life the way you think you're supposed to. And so it's a very dangerous situation when people get questioning the gospel. Let's see. Kayla, thank you for being a subscriber. Kayla says, is there an AUB branch in Idaho? Lots of FLDS here in southeastern Idaho. I don't know that there's a branch, but there could be a couple of families that live up there that are part of the AUB. Yeah, that's very probable.
I thought in one before they did have somebody in Idaho, a group, little
Yeah,
group in Idaho.
it could be. Yeah, I've lived in Utah for 3 years and haven't seen polygamy. Is it out still? Yeah, no, people are all over the place. People are polygamists all over the place here.
There's different groups. AUB polygamists tend to blend in, just like.
Yeah, you don't really know that they're
people,
polygamists unless you do.
If you're FLDS, you probably have a bit of the prairie garb. So
Yeah. Well,
if
even
you're up
still,
in
though,
Montana, we're prairie garb in it too.
it freaks my kids out when they see older pictures of me because they're like, what are you wearing? But I mean, I felt like I stood out. Like Cory's like, Mel, put your hair in a bun.
Yeah, come on.
Let's just, yeah. I'm like, stop it.
Put some prairie garb in it.
Okay, Blame Brett, thank you for being a subscriber, says, I think Robin claimed abuse in her first marriage. At least it was in an episode I recently watched. I think I heard that somewhere too. But I mean, he's remarried and has a beautiful family, and his wife adores him and his children adore him. So, you know, I don't know about that. Are sealings and endowment ceremonies the same between FLDS, LDS, or LDS, and does it vary? I don't know about the FLDS ceremonies.
We don't know about the LDS either because neither of us went through any of their.
Yeah.
And I personally haven't been through any of them. I chose very early that I wasn't going to go through any of their endowments whatsoever.
My dad did get married to his first wife in the LDS in the Salt Lake Temple, and so he has told me himself that they're the polygamist endowment is the polygamist endowment is supposed to be the original endowment that was issued by the beginning of the church.
We have to set up new star goals. Thanks for subscribing. You guys filled up our subscribers.
You guys are amazing.
205. Yeah, appreciate
Brandy
it.
says, wow, that's very forward thinking of him, your dad. Yeah, for his kids to just believe in Christ. And most of his kids, it's very common for polygamous kids, once they leave the polygamous church, to join the mainstream LDS church because they still want that community. They still want that sense of belonging. But then eventually most of them will fall out of the mainstream LDS church, which is what's happened in my family, and they go to local Catholic or Christian churches because they still believe in Christ, they still believe in Jesus, they still believe in the teachings, they just don't believe in the corrupt leadership. And so they will go to, and my dad will actually to. Yeah, thank you, Lisa. My dad will go to a lot of those ceremonies or a lot of those like blessings, or a couple of my sisters have been baptized. My dad will go to those baptisms because he just really does want people.
Thanks, Trina.
Yeah, thank you, Leslie. Thank you. Subscribe for the first time. Thank you.
Yes.
Let's see. Christine and Janelle just did an interview. Did you watch it? Yeah.
Jedi. Yeah. Thank you.
Word on the street is Robin's sister was dating the guy and she swooped in and started dating him. I don't know about that. Hey, thanks, Jedi.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Sonny.
Thanks, Sonny. I'll have to talk to my sister.
We don't know about that.
They knew that.
Yeah.
They lived up there, so.
What we're running.
I was well gone, so I'll get some down low on that.
Let's see. Sorry if this has been asked. Is Christine considered to be unsealed from Cody since she's remarried? Well, my dad's first wife left him and they were married in the LDS temple, and she's been remarried and he still thinks he owns her. So, thanks, Carl. Thanks for being a subscriber. Yeah, thanks for being a subscriber, Carl. Yeah, Carl is an ex AUB member as well. So thank you, Carl.
Oh yes, thank you.
They did a whole episode about how her ex stole her purity and she did the speech in front of the kids. I saw that speech. I saw that episode. I almost threw up. You do not say that shit to a bunch of little kids. That's the brainwashing that is so infuriating to me about the AUB. And there's my really strong opinion on that. These little kids believe anything that their parents tell them, and you get up there and you give a speech like that. No, that's horrible. Brandy says, I really bought into the whole first few seasons. I thought it was okay. Okay, it's not all war and jest. Yeah, and I think the first few seasons were very as honest as you could be, because now that the wives are separated, you're seeing the honesty. Now they can say things that they didn't feel like they had the ability to say. That's why when we went back and watched season 1, and both of us were like, that's going to be a fight. That, because you could see the sideward glances. You could see the little, all the little facial expressions. Yeah, it's like, you did not just say that. Mm-hmm. And so, we were like, that's not going to go over well. And somebody made such a great point that a red flag with Robin was when she talked over all the wives. Like, she knew how to live polygamy and no one else did.
Way better than they. Oh
my gosh, that was a huge red flag for me. And she was arguing with them, and she's like, I just thought, okay, the whole wedding dress, remember that one? And she was like, and he said, I picked the dress. First of all, that was staged for TV. No one goes out dress shopping like that because it doesn't accommodate your garments. You make your own wedding dress. You sew your own wedding dress. She made the dress that she wore in the show. I'm 99% sure she did. And so when he said that, it was ridiculous. And so, but then she's like, I just didn't feel like you guys needed to know that. I asked him not to share that. And I'm like, wow, that's some spice for being brand new there, little girl. Mm-hmm. So she didn't hold her position very well from the very beginning.
She did. She went, I'm up here, I'm this position, and you're in the need to know. Yeah. And you don't need to know. You're in the need,
yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, Brett says, I am the question asker in religion too. I always have been since I was very young. Yeah, we definitely are too. We're both definitely that way because you just feel like you have to ask these things or you follow blindly. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Cory and grab my cord because my phone's going to die. Oh. I got to grab my charger really quick.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So keep talking.
Oh, that's talking to you guys. Sorry. All right. The wives used white sleeves under their tops. Were those the garments? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and you
can tell they have little ties right here, and then they have the long sleeves and everything. You can kind of tell when they quit wearing them because then all of a sudden they're wearing shorter sleeves, things like that. So, and wider necks. So.
Yeah.
Shorts.
Well, and you can see
they took off their garments.
Well, there was an episode too, just barely, that I saw a preview for. Sorry, I saw a preview for this on YouTube, and Robin, he went down to see Robin, and she was in short sleeves. So I don't think they were married at that point. Oh. But I want to say I think they were married before episode 2 or episode 3 because you can see Robin's whole outfits change. She starts wearing the long sleeves with the t-shirts over it or the spaghetti straps over them because they have to accommodate their garments.
And then she's got the nice coleslaws to show she's been making out.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe you just said that. That's so bad. That's really shitty when somebody brings that into a family because then it never goes away. And that happened in my family. I was 14 or 15 when that happened. And now, my mom had 11 children. The top part of us, we didn't have that problem. But the bottom half of her kids, they all have that. And they'll have it for the rest of their lives. It's so shitty.
That's why I avoided the kiss of the priesthood growing up.
Yeah. So. Oh, gosh. That's a lot deeper of a subject than we're going to go into here. They do AUB.
Those were all of my questions with Dad. Hey, what's...
Oh my gosh, they did have a thing. It was such a thing called the kiss of the priesthood.
Kiss of the priesthood?
Where men would kiss each other. It was a bad deal.
No, I don't. Ooh, yuck. So...
I am late to the live. Did you tell the story about the falling out with Robin's bio dad? You guys are going to totally remember this, huh? We are still getting more details on that before we go into that story because it was so bad. It was such a bad falling out. It literally got Cory's dad excommunicated from the AUB. And so...
so that actions did. It's just... He was a very... I would say righteous. Other people say self-righteous man. So
Robin's bio dad was oh my gosh, is that what you did? I'm like, wait, I was reading a question. What did you just say?
Sorry.
Yeah.
The priesthood brethren would say he was righteous. So
yeah.
I just find it hilarious. So
yeah,
I'll get more information on that. I needed to talk to get all the information and dates, but he was a very righteous man within the AUB.
Oh, Robin's bio dad?
Yeah. And a lot of times it means that when you're very, very righteous, it's because you're calling out the sins of others.
Of other people, yeah. He liked to call out the sins of Cory's dad, so it was really a bad deal.
I loved it. I wasn't the only one that got my sins spoke out over the pulpit. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, his dad did too.
When the whole family gets excommunicated, we're all kind of cool.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. Do Robin's kids see their bio dad? We don't know. We don't have anything, I don't have anything to do with it.
I hope so.
I hope they do, yeah. Somebody asked about his cancer earlier. From what I understand, it went through on like a phone tree thing. He's in full remission now. Brandy's
on the phone tree.
Yeah, no, I'm not, but your mom is.
Oh yeah.
Brandy says, is the Kingston group another branch off? It is. Yep. So yeah, they all have kind of splintered away from the main LDS church, and it's probably been, this all happened in the 50s, 60s. So it's been a minute.
Well, in the see, this is where I don't know all my dates. I've got a big brain, but I deleted a lot of the shit that I grew up with. But they basically believe, like in the 1800s, whenever the church did away with polygamy, that they were set aside to continue on living polygamy in secret from the government, who banned polygamy, and that they were living the higher law while the rest of the church survived.
Yeah.
And then the government would hunt them down and throw them in jail and do all that stuff. So it was this whole, story where people did get thrown in jail for living polygamy and stuff like that.
Christine's grandpa went to jail for it too. So yeah.
But they believed that they were living this higher law in secret, away from the government. So that's why we never went on any sort of government assistance, because they didn't want anybody to know that they were living polygamy up in a compound in Pinesdale, Montana.
Yeah. So Sarah, thank you for being a subscriber. Sarah says, does your dad have any children still living polygamy? Yeah. So Cory has one active polygamist brother, and then one that goes to church. And then I have 4 active polygamist brothers and sisters, and then some that just go to church, but they're not actual polygamists at all.
So I have,
Yeah. So
what
we do.
said,
So out of the 34, there's only 4 active, some non-active.
There's some details. I have a older sister that I grew up with that's the second wife. Also.
Yeah, some of them. So I would say you have more than that. But very few, less than 10% of the children still live that way.
Yeah, you got 36 kids that all grew up in the same house, and 3 of them still go to the AUB. Yeah,
somebody says, Kayla, thank you for being a subscriber. Kayla says, I'm LDS, and the LDS temple sessions have become more simplified over the years, which I like. I know a lot of people, thank you, Stacy. A lot of people have said that. Because when you go through the endowment house, it's a 6 to 8 hour process, depending on how many people are getting married that day. And in the AUB, everyone comes to one building. So if you live in Montana, if you live in southern Utah, everyone comes to the Salt Lake Temple to get married. So depending on how many people are getting married that day is depending on how long the endowment process takes. Fran says, what do you think of regular people and their beliefs? Well, I would like to consider myself a regular person, and I think everyone should be able to believe how they feel is important to them. Yeah. We've raised our children to be, you make up your own decision. Yeah. It's not our job to tell you who you are or what you're doing. You decide, and then you raise your children accordingly. Yeah.
Live by your own religious conscience. Just don't force that on somebody else, and don't do things that are illegal. Don't abuse children.
Yeah. We've given our children a pretty good moral compass, but we do not dictate any other thing other than good moral compass. Okay, why does the AUB allow polygamy and the LDS Church doesn't? Do they believe something different? Yeah, so back in the day, in order for Utah to become a state, John Taylor made an agreement, which was a prophet of the Mormon Church, that he made an agreement with the United States government and said that they would ban polygamy. And so he banned polygamy in the LDS Church at that point so that Utah could become a state.
Thank you.
Yeah. Rebecca says, exactly, religion is of man, Mormon, whatever. I agree. I feel like any religion is we believe in being spiritual. That's why we don't subscribe to any religion. But we believe in having a good spiritual conference. Yeah. Wilfred Woodruff threw the manifesto in around 1890.
Thanks.
So, yeah. I mean, I
knew somebody would pull up some dates for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So Wilfred Woodruff.
I deleted a lot of that stuff from my big brain.
Yeah.
So.
And if your dad knows Jesus, why does he think he owns anyone? I'm very confused. We are too. Thanks, Daphne. We feel that way too.
I don't think he
owns
them.
I don't think he owns
he's
them.
The leader of and the spiritual guide.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I know. Also, Jedi says, also, Robin could talk Cody. Red flag right there. No kidding. She should never have been in on any of the other wives' conversations with Cody. Never. That's so inappropriate.
What was that question again? Jedi?
Oh, Robin could also talk Cody because on there they're like, I mean, you could even see Janelle's face when she did like her confessional or whatever on the couch, and she's like, well, apparently Robin speaks Cody, so I guess if Mary wants her there, she can have her there. And the rest of us are like, what? That is so inappropriate. Let's see. What? What's your smart? Oh, are you reading stuff that you're smirking at?
When she quits talking, does she just pull the hand out? I'm not talking.
She's a puppet for him. Yeah.
No, he's a puppet for her.
Yeah, he's a puppet on her.
I talk Cody.
I made up all these COVID rules, not anyone else.
Sorry.
Thanks, Jedi. You're so nice.
Thanks, guys.
I know. When the wives used to have the white sleeves under their...
I'm joking.
It says, when the wives used to have the white sleeves under their tops, were those their garments? No, the garments are very sacred and they're not to be seen ever. And so you have to wear clothes that cover them.
Yeah.
And so they're never supposed to be exposed on TV. So if you remember, so we've only really ever watched season 1, but when they did the whole wedding dress shopping thing and they were trying other dresses on, they did not have their garments on at that point because they wouldn't have been able to keep them covered and they wouldn't have wanted to expose them on national television.
So they took those off to try on the dresses.
Yeah, which was a huge no-no. You don't do that, but they did anyways. So, okay. Corey, how many wives do you have?
Oh, one.
Yeah. Multiple personalities, one wife. So, hello, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you, Stacy. Let's see. Would they still be together if they didn't have the show? I believe that they would be, yeah. And they would be miserable and sad. And their kids would be begging them to get divorced. Like my mom's children have been begging her to get divorced because Robin was clearly the favorite.
It's a 50-50 for me because I think the same mayhem would have happened if they weren't.
Yeah, but then they would have just tolerated it because they would have still been in the group.
Maybe.
It's the religion that forces them to tolerate it. When they go out into the big, scary, big world, then they don't have to tolerate that anymore.
I don't know.
Does that make sense?
Maybe.
Wilma says, I love your banter. Thank you.
Destroyed it anyhow.
I know. Corey doesn't have a lot of nice things to say about Robin.
I have said 3 nice things in this alone.
You have? Okay. Can they wear their garments so they show on the outside? Nope. They don't. In fact, you wear them next to your body, so your underwear, your bra, everything else goes on top of your garments. Your garments go straight against your body. Thank you, Sunny, for being a subscriber in that question.
Thank you.
Okay, what do you think about the secret lives of Mormon wives? I think that it's pretty accurate. I know a lot of Mormons who behave that way, and swinging is huge in Utah.
Hey,
huge.
It's soft polygamy.
It's soft polygamy. I know, that's so funny. It is. We are not swingers. We have never participated in that activity. We have zero interest in being a part of anything like that. We do throw back a good whiskey here and there. We do have a good cigar here and there. But we do not subscribe to anything like that, but I think it's pretty accurate. And what's funny to me is that they can do some of these things on national television and then profess to hold temple recommends and they're good Mormons. It blows my mind.
Hey, all attempt. For $35, I got a pastor or reverendship. So it's how much tithing you pay to get you your little certification card. Nobody really cares. And it's how you answer your questions.
It's true.
Do you do this? Do you drink coffee?
Yeah, we do drink coffee pretty
I
regularly. Yeah.
So
Brandy says, haha, passing around the cold sores. It's so disgusting. Yeah.
a cold sore for
Yeah.
you. A cold sore for you.
Yeah.
A cold sore for you.
Yeah. How many sister wives do you guys have? I'm late to this game. None. We've never lived it. Just born and raised in it.
Lots of moms, but
Somebody says, wait, what? What's the kiss of the priesthood? Good job, Big Mouth. Not everyone in the AUB subscribes to that belief of the kiss of the priesthood, but it's supposed to be one of those secret signs and tokens that only certain people should know. Thank you, Diane.
yeah, thanks, Diane.
And so, ex-Mormon here, please go into the kiss. Yeah, Mouth.
Sorry, no. When I was growing up, Dad said if an older man comes in and wants to give you what's called the kiss of the priesthood, refuse.
He's warning his boys, please do not kiss an
And
older
I'm like,
man.
yeah, I don't want to be kissing. What? I don't want to be kissing. You got to explain that more, Dad. And he's like, no, just don't let anybody give you the kiss of the priesthood. I'm like, is that a thing? And he's like, later on, if you go, and I don't know. I just remember being warned as a kid not to let any old creepy men kiss me on the lips and call it the priesthood, kiss of the priesthood. So
Yeah.
I avoided that.
So Leslie,
I learned how to dodge and duck and move.
when some old creepy man came up to him and was like, let me give you the, oh, sorry, I was trying to get to one.
So no, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a joke. But Dad was warning us. We were in a community of
because some people didn't think it was a joke. They thought it was real.
people, and I was just like, really? You guys really do that? So
Yeah.
yeah, I avoided being kissed. I didn't want any cold sores.
So have any one of the Browns contacted you and been upset about you telling us the truth? I have been in contact with some, and that's all I'll say. And no, they're not upset. So no.
Nobody's contacted me. So I don't even think they know who I am.
No, honestly, because I didn't start this channel to be about sister wives gossip. I started this channel, that's why the name is Notes to Self, is because as a small child, all of the notes that I would make to myself, I didn't want to be like this person, or I did want to be like this person, or how did I want to be as a person? And then the number 444 is the number for manifestation or transformation. So that's where I came up with the name. I was never going to really talk about sister wives. And then I had so many people ask me to talk about it, former AUB members that had been following my podcast or following my TikTok. And they were asking me to please make comments on it because the show sometimes can be so ridiculously, made for TV. And so I did one post and it blew up and here we are. So we just started and so then we decided to start watching the show weekly. Because just like everyone else, we're so curious about all the drama, and then with my mom leaving my dad and just things, there's a lot going on there. We decided to just start commenting on it. So I originally started on YouTube, and it's just Notes to Self 444, and I have 5 episodes on there that I filmed already. And then my little brother, my brother passed, so I haven't been as active on it as I should have. And then I started TikTok because it was more short form, and I could do little things on TikTok. So yeah. So that's kind of where it came about. We didn't actually start this channel to talk about the Browns. I didn't ever have any intention of talking about them. Let's see. Have the Browns oh yes, I already just answered that one. Do other husbands divorce the first wife and legally remarry their favorite like Mary? Sometimes that does happen. Yeah, I've seen it. Not very often. It's very, 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 very uncommon. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Kay.
Kayla. No, my dad, like I said, married 2 women with 3 small children. I think when he married the one, the baby was 2, and he never married her legally. So that was a long game that someone benefited from extremely. Not.
Yeah, you probably don't want to marry any of the other ones to, I don't know.
Yeah.
to be liable for anything, so it's probably going to
And
be
now, we were we were told that
prophecy.
now they're like preaching over the pulpit for the men not to marry any of the wives legally to try to protect the assets of the family, so that if that man passes, those assets go to the church, not to the wives.
Consecration.
Yeah. So the AUB has a temple in Salt Lake. Does it look like an LDS temple? No, you wouldn't even know that it was there if you didn't know that it was there. It was there most of my entire life, and I had no idea until the day that I went and got married, and I was like, wait, what? The temple's right there? Yeah. So I literally passed it.
Thanks, Jedi. Yeah, he's a good kid.
Who said that?
Condolences on your loss.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a rough one. He had Down syndrome, and his birthday would have been on Sunday. He would have been 30. And he choked, and he passed from choking. So it's been a really hard situation. First he was my mom's, my mom had 11, I'm the oldest, and he was the second to the youngest. Let's see, Brandy says, the one good thing I think the show gave them some financial freedom so they could leave. Yeah. It opened up possibilities for them, because that's what I'm saying. If they had never done the show, they would have stayed married to him. My mom did, and she's 70, she's 70 now. I agree with Cory. Leslie says, I don't even need to know why, because Cory's just like,
thank you. What did I say that you agree with?
Garments should be uncomfortable. Well, the whole point of garments is to give you a remembrance of covenants and promises you made to God and as a protector. Okay, they sound so uncomfortable. They were very uncomfortable. I was 17 years old and had to go put those on, and literally you are intimate in them. I delivered my babies in them. The only time you were supposed to take them off was to wash them, which then you should have had another pair to put on right afterwards, and or to shower. And some people showered with them on because they were that extreme. I personally didn't, but I was intimate in them, and not with you, babe, sorry, with that other guy. And then I did have my babies in them. Yeah, he was just saying that to me. He's like, we've been together 24 years and I've never seen your temple bag or your temple garments. It's weird. I guess it's just not something that...
Bring in the old long lingerie, babe.
What's your swig order? That's funny. We don't drink soda, so...
What's a swig order?
It's that... I know. See, we don't even know what it is. Because on the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, they say that they have like all of these soda shops all over Utah. We have one right down the street.
Coffee and alcohol.
Yeah, coffee and whiskey.
Give me a whiskey, I'm good.
Yeah. Let's see. Do guys ice out their other wives, not favorite wives like Cody? Yes, all the time. They will ice out. Well, they ice out their wives like Cody did with Mary and Christine. If they're not the favorite wife, will they just ice them out? That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
It's iced up.
Like you freeze them out, you don't pay attention to them? Yeah. Ice it out to pasture. He's saying ice them.
Okay.
Just put them on a block of ice. Yeah.
Ice seems a little bit more permanent, but yeah.
Yeah. Mormon 2.0 like Lisa Barlow. I like it. Yeah. Lisa Barlow's funny. Garments sound so uncomfortable. They are. Jenna says the Salt Lake City Soakers or the Salt Lake City Swingers can be the name for the new hockey team. Oh my gosh, I was dying laughing when I heard that. It's so funny. Because it is so prominent here. I have so many siblings who participate in that activity. Sorry, guys, if you watch this.
It's soft polygamy. I love that word. It's soft
I know.
Polygamy.
My dad always used to say that to me. Your siblings live polygamy. They just don't acknowledge it as polygamy because they all sleep with other people. Yeah. Let's see. Lisa Barlow with her tequila company. Yeah, this is so funny. Do men have garments too? Yeah, you both wear the same garments. The only difference is that sometimes the women's garments will have a little bit of extra room in the breast area. Unless you are a big-breasted man, then you have them too.
Well, I'm talking the guys should have some extra room depending on their priesthood.
Oh my gosh, Cory, you can't say that on live. You guys make a good couple. Thanks. So he's in trouble after that one.
This is humor only.
Somebody says, what about the Chad Daybell story and the Lori Vallow? You know what? We didn't follow that at all. I'm so sorry. We know nothing about that. Rhonda Phil, thank you for subscribing, Rhonda.
That's
thank
awesome.
You. I assume UTIs and yeast
I'd
infection.
like to apologize for being flippant.
I assume UTIs and yeast infections are very common. Extremely common. Extremely common. It's disgusting. So you both were born into the lifestyle. Yeah. Jenna says, I don't want the kids of the priesthood.
No.
Yeah. I don't think you do either. How preventable are STDs in the Mormon culture? Curious as I have Miami stats. Yeah. Yeah, they are very common, unfortunately.
Preventable.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody says, do they make maternity garments? They
I know.
do, but they tie up the front. And so a lot of times you would just loosen those ties as you got bigger, or you'd go buy a bigger size. But typically you would just loosen those up.
You have to get an anti-STD pair of garments. So,
What the hell? What did you just say?
sorry, I'm
Yeah.
flippant on this.
Somebody says, do you know Christine's aunt, Kristen Decker? I did. I knew her before her name was Kristen, though. She had a different name when she was in the AUB. And so I did know her from that. Yeah, so I have known her. Is Lisa Barlow's husband and John Barlow related to the AUB founder, John Barlow? So AUB was founded by Rulon Allred. The Barlows are independent. They don't follow, most of them do not follow a leadership of any sort. And I think they said on that show that they were related distantly, but I don't know that for sure.
Barlows were following, I thought, their prophet, who was part of the priesthood council before Rulon was put in there. Thank you so
Yeah, they
blessed.
were on the council, yeah, and then they left him. Thank you, so blessed, yeah, and then they went and became
So they were following their father or whatever, and
Yeah.
it was like a split off. So
Right.
But they never organized other than they're just following that he was a prophet.
Right. And William, thank you for being a subscriber, William. Oh, thank you
Yeah,
for being
no
on my
problem.
team. It says, if some of your father's 7 wives left him, would he cease to be the prophet? Well, this goes right back to the AUB makes up their own rules as they go along, and it depends on who you are. But no, he wouldn't, because he's still spiritually married to them. If they sought out a
Cease
release,
to be the prophet.
yeah, if they
He was
sought out a
still-
release, then that would be questionable. But even still, no, I don't
But
think
they
it
would
would.
have to ask him for the release.
And
so
he's not going to give them a release. So
You don't get no release.
Yeah.
I need 7 wives.
yeah, crotch itch in the making, wearing garments. Yeah. Growing up in Mormon, my parents thought those garments would protect them from everything. I did too. I
Sorry.
100% believe that. I never left the house without them on. If I went swimming, then I would get changed. If it was a public pool, then I would change in the restroom or, the locker room, whatever, put my swimsuit on, go swimming, come back, put my garments right back on before I headed home. If it was a lake, then typically I wore a wetsuit. I didn't wear an actual swimming
Sorry.
suit.
Sorry to my family who believes in it still about being flippant. I don't want to be flippant.
I know. Lisa says, can you describe what they look like? You can actually just Google it. It's right on Google. It just say original Mormon garments and it will pull up first thing on Google. They're the ones with the long sleeves, long neck, and then that way you can get a better idea with a picture.
Long johns.
If a husband dies, do the wives have to, and thank you, Sarah, for being a
thank
subscriber.
you.
If the husband dies, do the wives have to remarry to be financially supported by the AUB? No, not necessarily.
Yeah, I have 2 mothers that my dad passed. Well, I actually have 3 mothers that one left him and chose not to get remarried.
Yeah.
And the other 2, when he passed, they were there and they both chosen not to get remarried. But then again, he was ex-military, so
Yeah.
I
I think it just
don't know
depends.
if the AUB helps it up. I mean, I think the
They
AUB
help with the
yeah,
one
other
wife.
one, yeah.
Yeah, because she's
So-
still active in the AUB, and so they do help with her, even though she's never remarried. They
I
still
don't know
help
how
with
much. So.
with her housing and stuff like that.
So yes, they don't have to get remarried. They can just be taken care of.
Yeah. Somebody says, love watching you too. Question, I'm sure you've been answered. Are you no longer polygamous? Yeah, we actually never did live polygamy. We were just born and raised that way. And then my dad's the prophet. But yeah, they do have a house down here in Utah that I can't remember what they call it, but it's about 20 minutes from our house. And that's where they house any of the elderly women who need help. Then yes, they will. Kayla says, are there any AUB conferences out there on YouTube or anything? I don't believe that they'd allow them.
post it. They might have their own recordings of it.
Yeah, they do.
For their own purposes, but they don't put them out for the public.
And they have a general conference just like the LES church does. It's the last weekend of September. So they just barely had that like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. What is my podcast name? It's Notes to Self 444, and it's on YouTube. So please, we just are barely getting to 1,000 followers. Thank you, Cottage. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are helping us get up to that thing. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Is the community growing or shrinking? I think that it's both. The last prophet was very polarizing, and it caused a lot of splits, a lot of people to leave and a lot of people to stay, and caused several divisions. Yeah.
I'd say it's...
Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica. I mean, our family was large, and most of them have left, so... but there are some family that stayed there, and they tend to have large families too. Yeah, thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, so, thank you, 100 King, for the condolences.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I haven't done the numbers, but it seems like the last little while they've consistently said that they have about 10,000 strong.
Yeah, 10,000, and there's like 50 to 60,000 polygamists in Utah, or from Canada down to Mexico. Someone says, did you know the Liberian woman who married a Kingston man? We didn't know. I didn't really know a lot of Kingstons. I knew some from going to school with them. And this is before they created their own private schools. And Cory knew some, but not really. Let's see. We're going to probably wrap up in about 15 minutes because, oh my gosh, we've been going for almost 3 hours. You guys,
have we?
Yeah, I know. It goes by so fast, huh?
Probably why I'm so flippant. I'm sorry, guys.
We enjoy answering the questions. We have a really good time. Yeah, the STDs are so bad. They're so bad. Do they make... Okay. I appreciate both of your input. Okay, Brandy says, thank you for... Yeah.
Who's got the STD?
Oh my gosh. Brandy, thank you. Seems so odd that the woman would only be the driving force, as they say both Mary and Cody's mom were.
Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. Sometimes a man just doesn't have an interest in going out and finding another wife. I mean, that's a lot to deal with that. Thanks, Cottage. To deal with that many kids and that many personalities and wives. And then financially, like, it's a lot. And so he doesn't have any interest. He doesn't go out looking. And then the wives will find somebody.
Thank you.
What made the prophet before your dad so controversial? So if you ever watched My 5 Wives with Brady Williams, one of his wives came out saying that he was her dad, and came out saying that he had abused her as a child.
Yeah, and then he didn't prophesy very well, as Melanie pointed out last time.
Oh my gosh. I felt kind of bad about that one. The day he passed, he did a prophet, everyone was worried he was going to die that day. He was going to pass, and he's like, the Lord has given me a revelation. I'm not going to pass today. And then he died an hour and a half later. So I just laughed at that one, because I'm like, that was not a very good prophecy, was it? Are there families of the prophet on a higher social standing than other families within the group? Yes, very much so. The AUB is very much who you are, who your name is, who your last name is. Yeah. Somebody says, how accurate is the compound Juniper Creek on Big Love? Is it in real life? Very accurate. Yeah, very accurate.
So that's why I was always laughing. Oh, you guys watch Big Love? We came from the compound. So had my shirt done up to my neck, always working, always going around doing work projects throughout the community.
Yeah. It's very accurate. And there are people just like those people that you're seeing on Big Love. Exact same personalities. So somebody says, Diane says, do they make male garments big enough for Cody's 6-pack abs and his big pet? Yes. Oh, that's so funny. I saw your video on expanding about leaving the religious divorce.
Thanks, Jedi.
Yeah, thank you. When did Mary get her release? Was it almost 2 years ago? The filming time is confusing. Yeah, it was. I don't think it was quite 2 years ago. But yeah, that's what I was trying to remember, like when it was, because my dad called me the day after he gave her the release and told me about it. And so, yeah, I was really surprised. I didn't realize that it had already been that long. Love the way you both speak up and out. Thanks. Sometimes we hang up and we're like, oh gosh, Did we?
Oh shoot! Am I going to? Sorry, brothers, still there.
Yeah,
I'm not
we don't want to
flippant
offend our
towards
family.
you. Yeah, I joke about it.
We don't want to offend our family or hurt the people that we love that still live
Especially
this
that
way.
believe it. I want them to be able to.
But at the same time, you have to have a sense of humor, especially when it comes to these subjects, or you can get lost in the grossness of it.
Yeah, I could, because I am flippant too, because I have no desire to endorse it in any way. I love the siblings I got out of it. I love the connections that I have, but I did not feel like it was I didn't feel like that it was 100% healthy.
Yeah.
For,
we would
to
never,
raise kids
ever
I
condone.
wanted to raise my kids a whole different way.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Let's see.
So no, my flippancy is letting people know out there that I do not endorse polygamy, never would. So
yeah,
I'm very happy with one wife and the amazing kids I have, and I know all of my kids' name.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jedi.
Their names, birthdays.
Yep, I know their names, their birthdays. I've got a connection with each one of them, and that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
From my
thank you
dad.
so much.
So,
yeah.
And I worked really hard to have a connection with him. So, but there was a lot of competition. So.
Yeah. And
yeah, thank you, Jedi.
Brandy said,
That's
"Oh
awesome.
wow, I liked their family." Yeah, not Brady. It was one of Brady's wife's father. He was the previous prophet. So hopefully that's not confusing. It was not Brady. I actually have a lot of love and respect for and appreciation for Brady. It says a lot for a man who can leave this religion and retain his entire family.
Exactly.
And that's what he's done.
That says a lot.
Thank you, Jessica.
The family itself.
Right. The family structure and everyone in it. Like, I have a lot of admiration for that family because this is not easy. Thank you so much.
It isn't, and then he did. He kept his family together. That means they had strong relationships all the way around. So usually that doesn't happen.
And honestly, we have literally had to have a sense of humor about this. His mom doesn't think we're very funny. My mom doesn't think we're very funny sometimes. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you guys can't say that." But it's just how we've done. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Do you think Cody will ever try to go back to the LDS church? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, he served an LDS mission, so there's a possibility that could happen. Very hierarchical. I can't even say that word right now. You're right. It is very much. Does it seem like prophecy and fortune cookies have a commonality? Yes, that's a great way to put it. Thank you, Stacy. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's what I think too. Yeah. Can I ask your dad to excommunicate him for all of us?
It would never happen. If he's paying tithing, no way. You can't excommunicate a good tithe payer.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So,
if he was still paying tithing, then I don't know that he would ever actually get excommunicated. But if he's not, yeah, I think my dad would definitely kick him out.
If he was paying a good tithe and would still pay that good tithe, then maybe you could get excommunicated. So I don't know. It depends.
Somebody says
not going to kick out money makers.
Yeah. And okay, so when I got divorced, that was one of the reasons I couldn't get a release. Mike's husband was a huge tithe payer. I mean, he paid $10,000 one month in tithing. And the church isn't going to let that kind of money go. So, of course, I need to get back into alignment, not him.
Yeah. Put it another way, you're not going to excommunicate your best customer.
Oh, my God.
Or Robin's best customer.
Oh my gosh. Are there families where all the kids stay in the AUB as adults? I don't know one.
Is there one?
Yeah. Is there? So Kayla, thank you for being a subscriber, says, are there families where all of the children stay in the AUB as adults? I don't know of one single family that does that.
Wasn't it your grandpa that all of the family stayed in as adults?
No, my grandma and grandpa had 11 children. My grandpa didn't even stay in. He was kicked out. And then like 3 or 4 of his kids did not stay in it. So no, I don't know of one single family that has that option. Yeah, none of them stay in that the majority of people do leave. Mm-hmm. Especially now thank you, Cottage, where you have internet and access to information at your fingertips, literally. And cults and these types of religions thrive on secrecy, darkness, like you're uneducated people. that's where they thrive. And we are quickly moving into an age where if you are ignorant, it's a choice. If you are uneducated, it's a choice, because we all literally have everything at our fingertips. And so I think that's why more people are leaving now. There's my little soapbox about that.
I'm not a spokesman for the AUB. I'm more of a comedian for the AUB. They probably do not agree with any of my terminology or analyzation of what they do or believe, but it's just my sense of humor growing up in it. So yeah, because you do. I mean, we're going to get into a couple of different. We'll probably create some podcasts too, where we don't necessarily do a Q&A. Yes. We understand you don't represent them. Thank you.
Because there's some. No. Let's see. Has your hubs talked to Robin's family at all since he left, or since he left, or started talking out loud? No. Nope. Have you talked to any of Robin's family? Mm-mm. I'm friends with some of her family on social media, but that's it.
I'm friends with her brother and talked to him, but
her mom actually came up to me and introduced herself and said, and explained to me who she was, because I didn't know who she was. Thanks, Jedi. And then she friend requested me on social media, and we've been friends since then.
Amen.
But you were there that.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I've talked with him, but we talk about cool shit. I mean, cool stuff.
Oh, her brother. Because Cory grew up best friends with her brother. Yeah.
Talk about other stuff than...
Sorry, I was thinking... Robin.
Yeah, I guess I could say, hey, what's going on with... But I don't. I don't care.
No, we haven't really followed the show enough to even really know. Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, live goal achieved. What does that even mean?
You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much. We're learning this, so we're just throwing stuff out there to see. Yeah, thank you guys.
And to be honest, her brother that I'm friends with was booted from AUB, so that's why I'm friends with him.
Yeah.
Because he's way cooler than those in there. But if I needed to get information, I've got people within the AUB that have hooked up to the phone tree.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No, we don't.
It's just, sometimes you just can call and talk to.
Yeah, we'll keep your secret, Cory, that Cody's your best customer. Thank you. Thanks for that comment. That's awesome.
No priesthood kiss with him ever.
Yeah. Kayla says, so interesting. I truly appreciate learning more about the AUB. Yeah. I mean, thank you, Jessica.
Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when I grew up in it, I didn't really know anything different, and I've never been super shy to talk about things. It's taken Cory being around me long enough to be able to talk about things publicly. But I didn't choose to live this way. We were just born this way. And so there was just nothing we could do about it. I didn't make those choices, but I did make the choice to get married in the polygamist church at 17. And so, but did I really, I felt coerced into doing that. I wasn't forced into it, but as soon as I knew better, I chose better and I left. Mm-hmm.
We got lightning proof tiles on our ceiling, so.
Yeah.
I don't get struck by lightning being so flippant. Yeah,
somebody says, is it normal for her stepdad to be at the birth? I personally would never have something like that happen, but I think it's to each their own. He seems like Cory knew him and loved him, and it seems like they had a very affectionate or very close relationship, so maybe it is. But for me, I personally would never do that. So...
I am not going to any of my daughter's births.
No.
I'll be there afterwards to support them and love on those grandbabies. But it's something private for them.
Yeah. Is Christine's dad still in the AUB? I believe so, but I don't know that for sure. Yeah. And then I've heard that Robin's going to some other offshoot church. Yeah, I've heard that too. I've seen,
Robin is?
She's taking her kids to something. Does Cody know that you do this and that you know them? No, and I don't really I don't care if he does or not. He can watch the video. Hi, Cody. I really don't care if he sees it or if he doesn't see it. I don't care if any of them see it or don't see it, because this is our perspective. This is what
this is just our flippant opinion.
So we really don't have any...
We've had to have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
For the way that we grew up. And
Yeah, so if
some
he
of the
doesn't
people we
know,
dealt with, so.
or some, you know, I did reach out to one of the wives just because I felt like somebody had mentioned, like tagged the two of us in something, and I wanted to reach out to her personally. Yeah.
And we're proud of those guys.
Yeah.
So
No, we love those girls.
Yeah,
We love those
they're
ladies.
awesome.
And honestly, our channel was meant to be our perspective of polygamy, but it's hard not to, well, we didn't talk about sister wives for a long time, but that's what the general public knows. And that's what everyone sees. And so it's easier for us to reference the way that we were raised and
what
give
you guys are seeing through the AUB. Yeah.
our experiences based on what you're seeing on TV.
You're seeing on TV.
So yeah. Thank you for joining us, Cottage. You live in the UK. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for helping us make that goal. We're still learning that. The AUB is Apostolic United Brethren. It's a polygamous cult here in Utah. You got a guy, so, because you're like, if I need information, I got a guy. So that's so funny.
I got a guy
Yeah.
who's still hooked up to the phone tree.
Oh my gosh.
Gossip.
Yeah, have you guys watched Secrets of Polygamy on Hulu? I believe we have. Yeah, that question was asked earlier, and I'm pretty sure that we have seen that. I think that's the one where they go over the different...
I have to go back and look at it.
Yeah. Is the best customer an AUB thing? No, I have never heard that. That's one of the worst things I've ever heard on national television. I would never say he's my best customer. I mean, he is, but no, I would never say that. That's horrible.
I'm your only customer.
Yeah. Somebody says, you guys are so honest and authentic. I love this. Oh, thanks.
Sometimes too honest.
Yeah.
So.
Somebody says, thanks for calling the AUB gossip line.
What do you guys need to know?
Yeah.
Get in there and find out what the gossip is.
Yeah, press 1 for Cody, press 2 for Robin. That's hilarious. Let's see. I'm just going to answer a couple more questions and then we're going to wrap up for the night. And this will actually...
Thank you guys so much for hitting our goals.
Yeah, and awesome. We will put this on YouTube, all unedited. We just put it exactly as it happened. And so if you guys want to go back and ever take a look at it, it will be up on YouTube. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
That's really where we started and where
we love subscribers there to help. And subscribers, like, share. We love all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it helps us out.
Yeah.
So.
Is Robin as bad as the TV makes her out to be? I don't know her personally. I've never met her. So I don't know.
Sorry, I was reading another question.
Oh.
What was the question there?
Is Robin as bad in real life as she is on TV? You don't have to answer. You just your face can answer, babe.
Yeah, I think she's got a great personality. So.
Which one of Brady's wives did you grow up with? Oh, I don't know if I will say that out loud. 2 of his wives I was really good friends with growing up. I just don't know I don't know how they feel about me putting that out there, which is one of the reasons and they're not on TV anymore. They're not still exposing their lives. Mm-hmm. So I kind of want to respect that a little bit, that they're no longer showing their public life. And then so 2 of them were some of my very best friends growing up. And then 1 was our medical assistant when we had our baby.
Yes. Her name on YouTube is the same as on here. Notes to self 444.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Yeah. So. If the Williams family was still public, I would have no problem talking about it. But because they've taken themselves off of the public, you know, I want to be careful and respectful of that.
We've watched some of Brady's interviews and stuff. Really good guy.
Have a lot of respect for him. Thank you, Brandy. Brandy says it's her bedtime. Thank you so much. It's been fun and educational. Thank you so much for being a subscriber and joining us. Yep. They put their story out there, so you have the right to do yours too. Yeah. And honestly, if they were still public, I would 100% talk about all of that. Let's see. I like Brady. Yeah. Brady, honestly, I didn't know Brady that well until his first wife started dating him. And her and I were really good friends growing up. And so, and then a couple of his other wives. Let's see. Do you know the Duggars? Never met the Duggars. Don't know anything about them. Let's see. As a bigger girl, I loved and felt for the bigger wife. He always had to reassure Rosie. Yeah, Rosie's really sweetheart. that's one thing. And I actually just did a TikTok on this. This is one of the things that is really hard in the AUB. I'm 6'2". My daughter's 6'2", almost 6'3". She's the one that just moved out. She's 21. And in the AUB, it's very much you want to conform and be like all the other girls. I mean, you see it with the FLDS. Everybody wear the same thing because you don't want to stand out. The minute that you stand out, you become a threat to all of those other women. Maybe their husband likes you more, maybe they're, and so you're taught to be very conforming in the way that you look, the way that you dress, almost to the point where you shrink and you become very small. And there's actually even a walk that they do that's a very humble, sweet walk so that you are respective of all the other girls. Well, when you're 6'2", that's not easy. And so I really struggled with that. My entire life, I very much struggled with trying to shrink and be smaller. And I couldn't. I mean, where do I go? And so I understand those girls. And when you are bigger, somebody says, wait, what, girl, you're model material. Well, thank you. My mom actually did model because my mom was 6 feet.
I'm movie star material, apparently, right?
Yeah. And
I'm
so
6'2".
Yeah.
So, but I'm the runt in my family.
Yeah.
I'm one of the smallest at 6'2". All my brothers are way bigger.
And my ex-husband was 6'3". Yeah. And so one of my boys with my ex-husband is 6'9", and my other boy is 6'7". And then our son, who's 17, is I think he's 6'6" right now. We need to measure him.
They've all outgrown me. I guess my oldest daughter's the only one that I think I'm still taller than. Yeah.
Probably. And so. Yeah. So we were just taught you just don't take up space. And so I've loved, my daughter went to this little event a couple weeks ago for an AUB thing, and she wore heels, and these girls made fun of her for wearing heels. Like, what is she doing? She's already so tall. Why is she wearing heels?
Look up at me.
Yeah. And so we've taught her to take up space, and I love it. I love that for her. I love that she'll wear heels. I never even owned a set of heels my entire life. And so,
I'm a prophet's granddaughter.
Well, and my dad, who is the prophet, is 6'8", and then my mom is 6'9". So
your mom's 6'9"?
Or I'm sorry, 6 feet. No. Yes. So we have very much taught our girls to take up space, and our oldest daughter is amazing. Oh, my daughter just joined. That's why her name is Basketball Kerner, because she is amazing. All of our kids have loved basketball. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Robin says she has to shop at Victoria's Secret because she's tall. Do you? No. Who can afford Victoria's Secret? I can't. I'm not going to spend that kind of money. And so no, I don't shop at Victoria's Secrets. Nope. I think she shops at Victoria's Secrets for her best customers look. Yeah, I cannot ever forget the comment Robin made about stretch marks and weight gain. That was horrible. Yeah, that was, and honestly, it is so hard. And I'll talk. I'll talk about that more on another show. My ex-husband was extremely mean to me because of how tall I was and how big I was, and would tell me all the time how fat I was and how big and I'm 17, and it was brutal. And that is very much a thing in the AUB, to be very small.
Gotta keep her humble and sweet.
Yeah, somebody says, does Cory have nice pecs and a six-pack ab? Well, that's why I married him. He's hidden them somewhere, and I can't. I've been looking for years trying to find them.
She's a good cook.
So, yeah, I wish you'd pull those back out again, babe.
I need to get back to my six-pack abs.
Yeah, those comments were brutal. I don't think, those are really hard. And we could talk about that on our next Q&A too, some of those things, because, I was told that all the time. I was told that by a lot of my friends that were like, why are you trying to stand out? You need to be like the rest of us. I don't think Robin's that tall. I want to say she's like 5'7" or 5'8". I mean, which is tall for a girl, but not 6 feet. I'm 6'2", so.
I don't even know how tall any of them are.
Yeah, not to be disrespectful, but that's because of the inbreeding. Yeah. It is true. My parents married in, they were converted in, and Cory's parents were converted in, and my ex-husband's parents were converted in. So there is no relation anywhere. But I very much agree with you that there is a lot of, you don't want to stand out because you can tell that your family tree does not branch. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay, those comments show, oh wow, I hope you knew better. Okay, so you are all married. Yep, we are married. Okay. All right, so, somebody said, yeah, we know the Dargers, not the Duggars. Yes, I know the Dargers very well. Some of my family are Dargers. Some of my immediate cousins are Dargers.
Yeah, I've got a brother married to that family too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Family wreath. That's so funny. I just heard that the other day. I thought that was hilarious. So, okay. Well, you know what we forgot to do?
What?
See, this is what we're still learning.
Yeah.
I already created the event for our recap of the Sister Wives episode 5. And I forgot to apparently you can put it on here and then everyone can register for it. Yeah, we forgot. You can tell we're new. But yeah, I've already created that event. So if you wanted to go to my profile page, it's right there, and you can register for the next one. It'll put it in your calendar, and then we will do on Monday night, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we will do a recap of episode 5, and then give you our inside perspective of what we see and because I actually really did want to go over the grandparent thing today, but we didn't even talk about that because we got so sidetracked with all your amazing questions.
Thanks, Cottage.
And so, we definitely
What do you say?
we definitely want to answer all those questions, but we will do the live and typically like the first hour we talk about the show and our observations, and then right after that we do a Q&A of if you guys have any questions for us about what we saw in the episode. I have invited some of the Sister Wives to sit in on that, so we'll see if they're there. I'm not sure if they will or not, but I have talked to them about that. So, I will upload this to YouTube, unedited, exactly the way it is, and you're welcome to go over there and take a look at it as well. And so, thank you guys for joining us. Please feel free to share all of our things if you feel so inclined. We appreciate it because it really does help us to get our story out. It really does help me to get, that was the whole reason I started to do this, was to get my story out, to help hopefully inspire other people. I know we're kind of flippant and making fun on the Q&As, but there really is a deeper purpose in wanting to share what it is that we have experienced and the damages of being raised in a cult, and hopefully we can inspire someone else. Thank you so much.
Have an open dialogue, I guess. If we have family, or if anybody's wondering how easy it is to get out or change your belief systems or learn. There's so many different opportunities. There's so many things. Therapy's amazing. So connect with somebody you know. We
love answering the questions, but there is a serious side to all of this too. And there are people who feel trapped in a cult, and that is my goal and my hope is to inspire and help other people based on the experiences that we've gone through.
And the sense of humor is great. So
So thank you. Thank you, Cottage. Thank you for sharing your time and for sharing your contacts. That really is the whole point of doing this, is to teach other people. So thank you. YouTube, Notes to Self 444, Instagram. On my bio here in TikTok, I have a link tree and it has all of my social media platforms on it. So feel free to go there too if you'd like to. And we really do appreciate all the support. We really and being so patient with us as we learn this platform.
I think we went live. This is our 3rd live today, trying to figure everything out. So we really do. Somebody says, Rhonda, thank you for being a subscriber. Do you know Benjamin Brown? Yeah, she does. I've chatted with Ben a couple of times, and I don't know him well, but yes, I have. Because of this platform, we've connected, and we've stayed connected and chat here and there. So I do know him. Hi, Basketball Kerner. I think you're cute.
Our daughter, And then Jedi, thank you. You were so amazing today. We really do appreciate it. So, okay, you guys have a wonderful evening, and we will be back Monday night.
All right. See you guys. Thanks.